TikTok time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. It's your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D. Wood. With me now, I have no one. We got some video clips. AP messaged me earlier and asked if I wanted to go live, and I said sure. And then as we got closer, he said he's too tired. And so that's the Turk in him. That's the Turk. Too lazy. Anyway, no, he was tired. He did a ton of traveling and then got back and was super tired, and then got invited to Charlie Kirk's memorial and went there even though he'd just gotten back and was super tired anyway. So anyway, I'm guessing AP will be back here in the next day or two after he has a chance to rest a bit. I did want to go through some of the speeches, as I mentioned yesterday. We went through Erica Kirk's speech at the Charlie Kirk rally yesterday. But I also emailed AP. AP was there. He watched the speeches, and I asked him to list the best speeches because the thing was over 9 hours. The thing was like 9 hours. And so anyway, I wasn't going to watch everything or even all the speeches. So I asked him for what the best or most important speeches were. And here was his list. He said, Erica, Rubio, that's interesting. But I also saw a bunch of people sharing that Rubio, Marco Rubio gave an awesome speech and was talking about the gospel and stuff. So I saw a bunch of people sharing that. And then Pasobiec, I don't know who that is. I've seen the name before. I've seen the name, but I don't know who that is. I mean, I do. I know what he looks like now because I pulled up the clip. But apparently when I pulled up his name, he was on a bunch of interviews recently because he's apparently good friends with Charlie Kirk. So he's been on a bunch of shows talking about what Charlie was like. So there's apparently one of Charlie's good friends, Frank Turek. AP listed Frank Turek. Now I've known Frank Turek for years. It's actually a weird situation. Right after the shooting, when everyone started going down the conspiracy road, they started sharing little clips of Frank Turek that they didn't know who he was, but they saw a guy in the back and he's like tapping on his phone or something like this. And people said, "Oh my goodness, is this is a person sending signals to the shooters?" And that just shows you how, I mean, people, they decide something ahead of time and then they go and look for the evidence, and then they'll just kind of pick out anything that they can use as confirmation for their theories. And so they're actually pointing a finger at Frank Turek, who was friends with Charlie Kirk and who was his mentor. Frank does, he's been doing it a lot longer, but Frank does basically what Charlie does. He'll go to a college campus and, Frank's presentations are less political. It will just be about Christianity. So he'll go and talk about Christianity and then open up for questions from sometimes very hostile audiences and so on. So, yeah, that's what Frank does. And apparently Frank gave an awesome speech. And AP also mentioned J.D. Vance, so that's interesting. That's interesting. So he mentioned Erica, Kirk, Marco Rubio, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Pasobiec. I don't even know if AP spelled it right. Pasobiec is what it looks like. Frank Turek and J.D. Vance. So I want to go through Frank's speech separately. I saw people say Frank gave an awesome speech, but it was similar to a video that he posted. So he posted a video tribute to Charlie Kirk, which was longer, and they said his speech at the memorial service was basically a shortened version of the video that he put out, remembering Charlie Kirk. So I'll probably do that separately, where we'll check out what Frank said in his speech and in his video. Might do that tomorrow. See what happens. But we've already been through Erica's speech yesterday, so we're going to check out Marco Rubio's speech. I wish I knew that. Prosobiec, and J.D. Vance's speech. But we're going to start off with Tucker's speech. It's weird. Tucker wasn't on AP's list of the best speeches, but I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it yet. But I've seen two groups, basically. I've seen a bunch of people saying, wow, Tucker's speech was awesome. It was so great. He had a great message. And I've seen the people commenting on him saying something about Jerusalem hummus eaters or something like that. And these Jerusalem hummus eaters. And what I saw from various people's posts was there were people who are interpreting that as, let's see. So I think that was in reference to the crucifixion and what he called Jerusalem hummus eaters couldn't stop Jesus, even though they tried to stop him, but it didn't stop him. And then I guess that's being interpreted as being about Charlie. The same guys, I guess, tried to silence Charlie, but it didn't work. And I've also seen some who think that Tucker was implying that it's about him as well. Like the Jerusalem hummus eaters are trying to silence Tucker, but they're not able to do it. So anyway, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I know there's something about the Jerusalem hummus eaters and what he meant by that. What are the implications? So we're actually going to check out Tucker's speech. Why is AP messaging me a question mark? What? Anyway. So, what I find interesting here is that you have people who are concerned that Tucker is going down the deranged conspiracy road. And I want to point out here, just to be clear, and I'll probably point it out again a million times oh, wait, AP's trying to jump in? What the heck? Hang on. What are you doing, man?
Oh, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, yeah, AP messaged me and said he's waiting in the room there, but I didn't even have guests turned on, so it wasn't giving me any sort of notification.
That's funny.
Hey, man.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing? Hang on, you're looking taller than me, which is impossible because you're a Turk. Hey,
What's up, man? How you doing?
hey, you just derailed this entire thing. I knew where everything was going, but when you show up, everything's just less predictable.
I did it on purpose, man.
Hey, how you doing, man? Thought you were tired. Thought you were tired and we're going to go to sleep.
I was tired to do it on my own channel, but to go live on your channel, I'm not too tired.
Oh, okay. Then we're good. So, did you hear already? I mentioned that you sent me a list and that we're going to go through 3 of those on the list in addition to Tucker's speech.
Oh. The funny thing is, I didn't listen to Tucker's speech.
Did you walk away or did you just zone out and not pay attention?
So I was already before Tucker came in. I was already walking around trying to look for a charger. I didn't have a charger with me. I forgot my power bank in the car and didn't have anything with me. My phone was dying, so I was trying to find a solution for that. Walking around, and then there was a lineup of people coming and talking, and then I saw that Tucker went on stage, and I thought to myself that day already and the day before, I was trying very hard to ignore anything that Candace Owens says and anything that other people like that are saying, because I want to focus on Charlie and the memorial service and all that. Don't want to engage in any of that kind of stuff. And then Tucker came up, and I thought to myself, I'll just walk away, just walk around, see what's up here. So I paid like no attention at all. It's actually remarkable because normally I can't do that, but I actually had a conviction to then completely block it out of my head and I was walking around on the floor of the stadium and just looking around. And then I actually came across, while he was talking, I actually came across Valentina Gomez.
Yeah, nice.
and I had met her just the week before in London. So I was already in London. I met her. I went up to her and we talked a little bit. And she's a lot of fun. You know, she's a very friendly, very down to earth person. Is very, very interesting. Took photos with her and all that. And then I see her there while Tucker is speaking, and I'm like, I go and I'm like, hey, and she's like, hey. Here we meet again. We just saw each other in London. Yeah, like, suddenly acting like very good old
Your
friends.
best buddies.
Yeah, and having a conversation with each other. And then she's telling me about how Mehdi Hassan is getting really mad at her online right now, and that we're making fun of him together while Tucker is talking. So I completely blocked it out, you know. And then,
Oh yeah, because she said that once she gets to Congress, she's gonna bomb. She said she's gonna bomb him. She said she's gonna bomb all Muslims who say they want to see planes crash. And she put a picture of him saying, "Make American planes crash
yeah.
again," something like that. He posted something nasty like that, and so she said she's gonna bomb him when she gets to Congress.
The funny thing is, she's funny. You know, when I went to her and
Oh, you
when she
think?
was in London, I went up to her and I was talking to her, and she's totally cool. And after a while, I'm like, so you're gonna give a speech here? And she's like, yes. So, are you going to say deport all the rapist Muslims? And she's like, she looks at me and she's like, you'll see.
Yeah, I told you yesterday when you texted me and mentioned that you saw Valentina Gomez, and then I had just watched a clip from her, and it was right after the shooting at a Catholic school that was by a trans shooter, and then I knew before I clicked on it, I was like, her first line is going to be the most over the top, dialed up to infinity line ever. And I clicked on it and she goes, if they can't groom your children, they'll kill them. These pedophiles. She just instantly starts. It's like the idea was they couldn't groom them because they were in a Catholic school, so you just have to go in there and shoot them. But anyway, oh my goodness, man. She just instantly, she just stays dialed up to 10 in every incident.
Hardcore. Anyway, so yeah, I just came back today, very, very tired, wanted to sleep, and then you decided to go live. I'm like, okay, can't sleep.
Well, I told people yesterday that I'd try to go through some of the speeches. That's why I asked you yesterday what the best speeches were. And so I was like, okay, AP doesn't want to go live. I will just go through some of these speeches that I said I'd be going through.
Beast.
And Tucker's, right before you jumped in, I was talking about Tucker a bit. Tucker. And because I've been seeing, wow, he gave a great speech. And hey, wait a minute, he took a jab there. And I was thinking, that is exactly what I would have expected him to do. And you've got all these people who are complaining about Candace and saying, oh, at least Tucker isn't as deranged as Candace. And people need one that makes it worse, guys. When you take someone like Candace Owens, who just gets more and more deranged as time goes on, soon the only people following her are going to be deranged people who just love deranged conspiracy theories. You can spot them. They will, over time, expose themselves and eventually just go off into obscurity, as with the reputation of a complete lunatic. The smarter way to go about things, if you're trying to, so here's the thing. At the end of the day, the only people following Candace are going to be total nut jobs, right? It's actually more serious with someone like Tucker if his goal is to take Christians and conservatives with him down the road. You have to be more careful. You can't come across as a deranged conspiracy nut if you're doing that. So if you're Tucker, you want to keep everyone on your side. You want to constantly demonstrate your value to Christians, so you remain in their group and you remain a champion of their group. You want to demonstrate your worth and value, your indispensability to conservatives, so they always have you as part of their group and so on. And you don't want to just constantly fling everything in people's faces all at once. You want to nudge them. You want to slowly nudge them. Hey guys, Christianity's awesome. Christianity's great. Christianity's great. Christianity's great. Christianity's great. Hey, deranged conspiracy theory, right? And just slowly nudge them. And then hey, conservatives, awesome. And then a little, and you want to slowly steer the entire group where you want them to go, but you have to do it. You have to do it nice and slowly over a period of years.
Oh, okay. I thought the next thing would be to engage physically.
Oh yeah. You need the Tucker system. You need a graphic on the Tucker system.
Should
yeah. So guys, the ones who are screaming deranged conspiracy theories, they seem significantly worse, but they're easier for most people to spot. You got to be more concerned about people who are slowly nudging people in the direction they want people to go, and being very careful about it. So what's Tucker going to do in the coming months and even coming years? What's he going to do? It's going to be he's got a show. He's got a big show. So what's he going to do? He's going to constantly bring on important Christians who have big fan bases and stuff like that. Hey, everyone, look at this Christian. This Christian's with me. So yeah, we're here. We're talking about Christianity, and I'm giving this guy a platform to discuss Christianity because Christianity's awesome. All Christians watch my show. This is where you get the good Christian content. And then same thing with conservative stuff. Hey guys, check it out. We got this conservative speaker. Why? Because I'm in good with all the conservatives, and I'm here to promote this message, and and then get that out, and then total lunatic. Let me get this lunatic on there. But you trust him, so he's constantly building up people's trust, and then doing a little something, and then building up the trust, and then doing a little something. So it's going to be Christian speaker, conservative speaker, deranged conspiracy theory, Christian speaker, Russia's actually good, Putin's good, Christianity's awesome, Russians are the champions of Christianity in the world today, Germans were the good guys, Christian speaker, destroy Israel, Israel bad, Israel controls the world, Christian speaker, and that'll be the direction that his entire show goes, and I can tell you that ahead of time, and it's exactly what's going to happen.
The thing is, now I haven't, as I said, I haven't listened to the whole speech of Tucker Carlson. I blocked it out mostly, but I saw little clips of things that people are pointing out and complaining about. And in all honesty, despite the fact that I have a great distaste and dislike for Tucker Carlson by now, I didn't think that what he said was actually bad. But then what I did understand is, within the context of everything that he said over the last 2 years, it seems that it can easily be taken as something bad. That was my impression.
Is that what they call a dog whistle?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I were Tucker and I were trying to rile up the anti-Israel crowd over time, I would have given the most amazing speech ever. That's what I would have done. Why? And guys, notice what I was just saying about it being easy to spot the deranged conspiracy lunatics and harder to spot the people who are slowly steering you in the exact same direction, but they know how to be careful about it. Look who got invited to speak and who didn't. Candace Owens, nowhere to be found. Why? Easy to spot that she's a complete lunatic. Tucker? No, you got to have Tucker. How are you not going to have Tucker, man? That's how you want to keep it. You absolutely have to have Tucker at your events so that everyone think, aha, Tucker, awesome Christian, awesome guy, got to have him at every event. And that's part of the trust, right? Tucker, when he sounds like he's saying something completely insane right here. But I mean, he's at all the events. He can't be insane, or other people wouldn't be having him at all their events.
That's true.
That's smart. So that's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you do it.
That's true.
Tucker Carlson. Ari here said, David, you and AP once streamed about. Where'd you get that? Did they have those at the thing, or you got that separately?
No, separately.
Separately?
Yeah.
Ari here said, David, you and AP once streamed about Do you know how that name is pronounced? Posobiec?
They said Posobiec at the event. I don't know
Posobiec.
why.
Why don't you
Yeah.
spell it Posobiec? Take the A out.
No,
Posobiec.
it's actually with an E, but I didn't know how it's pronounced. I
Oh,
always only saw it, but at the event they announced him as Posobiec, so I trust Turning Point USA, considering that he's a regular there.
okay. So you once streamed about Posobiec exchange with some pastor about the topic of Christ is King. You should know him. Does this ring a bell?
Possibly.
What
Thing is,
hang on one second. The assumption, Ari, is that if we talked about something some time ago, I would remember it. That is a false assumption. Just want to be clear on that because I have no clue who this guy is.
the thing is, I have a strange relationship with political speakers and political influencers and political figures. For example, Jack Posobiec is somebody that I muted in the past, on Twitter. So it's somebody that I actually thought, okay, I don't want to see any more tweets from this person, so I actually muted that guy a long time ago. But over the last year or so,
Time ago.
something changed, and I was writing my thoughts down today, and
In your journal.
yeah, because I was preparing a video,
Video.
or
That's
a
okay
video
then.
idea about Charlie Kirk, and I thought to myself, it's kind of weird because over all these years, I kind of had like I just looked at Charlie Kirk from the distance, and I never ever thought of getting in touch with him or communicating with him, talking to him, anything like that, because to me it was always okay. He's in a different arena. He's doing the whole political activism thing, and we are in a different arena. So it's just completely different things. But then he got in touch with me like 2 months ago, and thinking back about it now, there is no reason for me not to get in touch with him in the first place. So
Well, there is. You
so
blocked
I,
him.
I was kind of wondering why I never actually contacted Charlie Kirk or never made an attempt to get in touch with Charlie Kirk, and why I had to wait for him to get in touch with me after all these years and to call me down there and to speak. He was obviously open to people like us actually collaborating with him and talking about Islam and doing all these things. And I feel like I could have initiated something like that in the past. And maybe this is a good sign that, or a good lesson that maybe I, and also you, by the way, need to initiate connecting more with people like Charlie Kirk, who are in the political arena, because this is needed. There are some great developments happening, by the way, now with Turning Point. There's also, is kind of upsetting. Charlie himself wanted to. He started with me, but also with IP and with others, and he wanted us to tackle Islam on
Mm,
Turning Point USA
we know that's
Faith,
still happening.
and
That's next month, man. We're recording all that next month. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
and he told people close to him about this, about how passionate he is about this, so they know about it. When I actually went there yesterday, I had several people that I talked to, who mentioned it to me, who mentioned that Charlie talked about me and IP, and specifically wanted us to do this kind of stuff. And David is also in on it. So we're doing something very big now. But we could have done this a long time ago. So what I'm saying is, the whole political activism and political commentary and our stuff was kind of, in my mind, it was different worlds, and I kind of had a strange view of that political stuff. So I generally ignored some of these political commentators or didn't really interact with them and so on. Yesterday, when I was sitting there and listened to Jack Posobiec's speech, it was a very good one. I mean, he was probably one of the most he had the most fiery speech, I would say, in terms of it seemed a little bit confrontational, but it was also full of heart because Charlie was his friend, and I ended up really appreciating him and the people who spoke there and all that. So, long story short, we had mixed feelings and mixed interactions with political influencers, but things should change.
Um, I'm not crazy about joining other people's groups because then they try to control me.
I'm going to join Turning
They
Point
can't
USA.
control this. You
I'm
should.
going to
You should be
I'm going to
the
I'm going to
Islam
my
expert.
yeah. I'm going to give my channel over to Turning Point USA.
No, you should just be their resident Islam expert. You know what this is about? Because multiple people have posted something along the lines. D Wood, I just wanted to stop by and let you know that IP is losing his cool playing Minecraft. Invite him to your stream and stop the next Mike Winger. And then after that, it's why aren't you joining Mike Jones on Inspiring Minecraft? Did he start a channel called Inspiring Minecraft or like a gaming
No,
channel?
I just opened my YouTube app and saw that there's a recommended live stream on YouTube featured, which is Inspiring Philosophy playing Minecraft for the first time. And I thought, what the heck? Why is YouTube promoting this? But it's actually IP on his own channel playing Minecraft.
We were when we were doing the Boom Boom Room. I told Vocab I wanted to do a Prophet gaming channel. It's all Muhammad playing games and then freaking out and blowing everything up. And I asked my kids about Minecraft, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can rig up a whole building with explosives." And Muhammad can go at because they have those guys. They have the characters with the big noses, and we're gonna have Muhammad just going, "Is that a Jew? Is that a Jew? Is that a Jew?" And he's gonna go around slaughtering dogs and pigs the entire time, and eventually get ticked off and just blow the entire place up. And so we're gonna have a gaming channel where all he does is eventually get mad and blow everything up. Never got around to it though.
That's funny.
We also have, so apparently, why aren't you joining Mike Jones on Inspiring Minecraft? Laughing maniacally at a memorial is a crazy look. I did see people pointing that out since yesterday. Yeah. Who's worse for America, Tucker or Candace? I would say Tucker, but everyone else would say Candace.
I mean, just imagine if Tucker was, as insane and weird as Candace Owens.
Pretty creepy. Yep. We'll see why, Susan. Hey, we got more people talking about AP. Why aren't you playing Minecraft with Mike Jones and Than on Inspiring Minecraft?
Look, I'm an old gamer, old school gamer, and I have been playing games even when it stopped being cool. But I tried playing Minecraft just to understand my kids, and I just got really bored. So.
Yeah, I just remember when my kids started playing Minecraft, I was like, oh, it's cool because they're learning the names of various like ores and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, they're learning something and they're learning about tools and stuff like that. So that's all good. Over at Lotus Eaters, Carl Benjamin and co, they just thought Tucker's speech was very Christian, so maybe is a bit of a Rorschach. No, I'll guarantee you it's very Christian. It's just, don't assume since a message is very Christian or very conservative that therefore there isn't a goal involved in it all. Something else involved. AP's a traitor. We've all seen him with the evil winger. Yeah, I know. That's pretty messed up. I heard Erica talked about the conspiracies. True? Oh, did she? Not on stage, but I saw she was going to. I saw she was going to discuss the conspiracies.
She was supposed to go in what's her name? Alex Clark.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Alex Jones. I was like, wrong place to go about the conspiracies, girl.
She's not retarded, so I don't think that would happen. But yeah, I'll check that out.
You know what's seriously messed up?
What?
I don't know if this is just something I want to make a tweet about or make a video about, but Candace Owens has just been gushing praise over Erica Trump. Oh, she's so great. She's so wonderful. She's so great. Candace, what are you really saying about her? Not when you're praising her. What are you really saying about her in her messages? I mean,
it was the fakest thing I've seen in my life, man.
Yeah. What's Candace actually saying about Erica Trump? That she's an idiot who's been duped by all the people who are on stage with her, who are all conspiring to cover up who's really behind it, and Erica's the dummy who's falling for all the deception.
You mean Erica Kirk? You just said Trump.
Oh yeah. So Trump's on stage. Trump's probably, I'm guessing Trump is part of the plot. JD Vance, part of the plot. All these guys, part of the plot. And Erica Kirk is since she thinks the guy who, was up on the roof and fired the rifle is actually involved here and is responsible, and doesn't realize who's really responsible and that the FBI is all covering this up, she's just a gullible stooge. That's what Candace is actually saying about her, while praising her for being so awesome. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Weird. Having AP on is fascism, you see? Yes, I know. He's lying. He was chatting with Mike Winger the whole service. That would have been funny if I said, "Hey, AP, you were there. What are the best speeches so I can go through them?" Well, I couldn't pay attention because I was having too much fun chatting with Mike Winger. D. Wood, are you a fellow hummus eater? Oh, yes. Hummus is one of the best things on the planet. Tucker Carlson is pro-BRICS. His whole platform seems to be undermining American national sovereignty and our status as a constitutional republic. I don't know. I just said, guys got some wild ideas. Hey, AP, you already saw this, but you got to play it. Got to play it. Totally unrelated, ladies and gentlemen, but it is breaking news as of early this morning. We had the story of Al-Zut, Muhammad's relationship with the men of Al-Zut. Some guy blurted it out on Sky News during a interview with Sky News, and then they took it down, but not before the guy got the footage, and so he's got the footage. I actually went, not to just their videos. I couldn't find it in their videos on their channel. I actually subscribed to Sky News, paid to subscribe to Sky News so I could see the full live stream, and they had removed it from the full live stream. It was 8 minutes shorter than it's supposed to be. But here's some of what they cut out. This awesome guy. Instant legend status here. Here you go.
Well, I mean, the reason I've got bacon on my shoulders is because the terrorists are a charming lot, and they threaten to behead me every single day. So a little bit of protection. But I've got to say, I'm from the UK. We have the threat nearly every single day from Islam invasion. Our second biggest city, Birmingham, is already majority Muslim. Our mayor of London is Muslim. And the new Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, is Muslim. And I just have a very clear, simple message to Muslims, which is, stop worshipping a pedo warlord who's the Bonnie Blue of the 7th century, sleeping with 30 Al-Zut men, who married a six-year-old and slept with a 9-year-old. And there's only one culture that pours acid on women's faces. There's only one culture that makes women cover their faces so other men don't rape them.
Been told we do have to apologise for what was just aired, those comments earlier.
I love how she jumps in with a nervous laughter. We do apologize.
It was funny. I love how he said Muhammad got banged by 30 Al-Zut men, which means he got that specifically from my video because I'm the one who tied it to the 30. I'm the one who tied it to him having the strength of 30 men. So anyway, that guy's hilarious. He went on a show. And said that, and then they had to chop it out. But it's too late. We've got it, ladies and gentlemen. We've got it.
How did they even invite him? Like, what did they invite him for? Just where did they even find him? A very solid move. Very solid move. I would like to connect that guy and shake his hands. Very solid move. But I really want to know how this happened.
Everyone's saying we should get him on for a live stream to join us. Yeah, we should get him on with us.
Isn't he? I think his handle is like the Korean Scot or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. So he's a Korean Scottish man.
Korean Scot. Okay, got him.
Yeah, he's a Korean Scot and not a big fan of Islam for some reason. It's weird. I thought everyone would be a big fan, but yep. He mentioned the Al-Zut on Sky News. We finally got Al-Zut on the news, and now we just need to get it on every other news channel. Hey guys, I was mentioning how you kind of don't need to worry as much about the deranged conspiracy nuts because over time those people will only be persuasive to other deranged conspiracy nuts and so on. But let me give you an example so we can compare. So here's Candace Owens, and then we'll compare that with Tucker Carlson, who's going to be much, 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 much smoother. But here we go.
Do you think it's normal, by the way, that basically every person who speaks about Israel has to basically say a statement that's like, I don't want to get killed? Like, this is fucking normal. Like literally, you start speaking about it, people are like, Candace, beef up your security. That's not fucking normal.
Oh, something's
Excuse
not
my
normal.
language, but like that is not normal. Okay, it's not normal that people have to think about their security because, and by the way, it's not normal that then the way that you get comfortable with it is you're like, well, they shot JFK in an open car, so there's not. I mean, he's a sitting president. I mean, obviously, my security doesn't really matter. If they want me, they're going to get me. That's not.
Did you hear what she just said, guys? It's you comfort yourself. You comfort yourself with the danger you're in by pointing out that there's nothing I can do security wise. Because if they took out JFK. There's no evidence for that, by the way. But if they took out JFK and got away with it, then there's no amount of security I could have that could actually protect me. So it's just pointless even trying to defend myself against these guys who are going to kill me. And she's saying something about not normal. Anyway, back that up.
They shot JFK in an open car, so there's not. I mean, he's a sitting president. I mean, obviously, my security doesn't really matter. If they want me, they're going to get me. That's not a normal thought process to have. We don't have that about any other country in the world except for the one that, took over ours. And that's the truth. Okay. We are an occupied nation. And if it's going to take women like having to speak up and say that to make permission, like to give permission to men to do the same, then I'm happy to be the first person. Okay. I just want to be clear. Anything happens to me, blame the Zionists. Like 1,000% blame the Zionists.
1,000%.
Like, let that be my parting word.
So she already decided if anyone ever takes her out for any reason, blame the Zionists 1,000%. Why not the Macrons? I mean, you've got you've been calling the Macron's wife a dude for a long time now. Could it even be one? Could it even 1%? Could it even be 1% something else? No, it's got to be 1,000%. 1,000%. Couldn't be. You're not ticking off anyone else in the world. That's the thing.
The funny thing about this, if she was tomorrow run over by a car or something and died, pretty sure
all
that
her fans
all the fans would play this clip and say, "Look, she said it right
She
here.
said it. Oh my goodness! How could she? She said it, and then it happened. Is she a prophet? She's the prophet. She's the greatest prophet of all time."
Zionists, they were onto her, and she knew it. And this is the proof that it was them.
All right, so that's just to compare the Tucker speech, which AP didn't see and I didn't see. AP was buddying it up with Valentina Gomez, and now we're all going to see it for the first time.
And Mike Winger.
Oh yeah, people look. People think this is funny. What is Mike Winger doing here? Ha 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 ho ho ho! Yeah, you guys are so funny, so funny. Everyone make fun of, everyone mess with D Wood. Keep playing with the piranha. I'm just going to start randomly blocking.
I have to say, so that was the first time that I actually met Mike Winger in person. I hadn't
Hopefully
had the honor of meeting him in the past, but so I went up to him and we were looking for him with IP because IP thought it would be the highlight of the day. Me too, to meet Mike Winger, and so we met up. We went up to him, and then he saw me and. We never interacted with each other before, so I thought he wouldn't really care much about me or anything. But he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, how are you doing? I wanted to tell you that I'm very happy for you, and I'm very, very proud and very happy and all that." So he gave me a hug, and I thought, "Wow, what a nice guy, man."
Dude, I'm literally here talking about how the more dangerous guys are the ones who can dupe you, right? Who can come across as the good guys, even though they're completely evil. And here you are. Oh well, he's not the monster that David says he is. He's just super nice. That's part of it. That's part of the act.
And then I actually said to him, "Hey, I wanted to tell you, I'm very sorry for all the insults and everything that I'm constantly part of during live streams." He said, "It's okay. You're just witnessing them." He said. Do you see the charitable response that he gave to me? Yeah. This is Mike Winger, man. Wow. What a guy.
Yep,
anyway.
Perfect example of pure evil. Lashana Tova, Tika Tevu, so happy to see our handsome boys back together.
Shana Tova.
You don't know anything. Ex-Muslim here. Muhammad actually means supreme authority, not guardian. That's why Mo kept abrogating and adding to the Quran at his own convenience. That is the best explanation. And that's what that's what I'll probably point out. D Wood is wingerphobic. Will be reporting. Ooh, so scared. I love D Wood's advice for criminals segments. Oh yeah, that's always important. AP, I too will soon become a cat human.
Based.
Hey, yeah, I wanted to get down to this, the Tucker system. You're supposed to use T, U, C, K, E, and R in your system. So you put demonstrate, groip value, laugh so maniacally you get whiplash, and promote Russian cola prices. Yeah, now you need 6 steps. One starts with T, then U, then C, then K, then E, then R. Got it?
Fantastic.
Oh, and here we have this. I'm a descendant of the great Al-Zut tribe. We have a story we tell by the campfire about a bearded guy my ancestor rode for 12 hours straight. The little girl who was with him scraped the semen off his robe. Yeah, I wonder who that could possibly be about. It is funny. I mentioned the other day that I went to the website of the Jat people. There's like a Jat history site, and they said, yep, and back in the day we were called the Zut. And we actually met Muhammad out in the desert. It's in their hadiths and stuff. They didn't say anything about banging him and stuff, but it's funny that it's actually they're referencing the meeting of Muhammad and the men of Al-Zut.
We met him in the desert.
And one more. We've got more super chats, but I want to get to this video. But this one's Tucker. Are there any unupdated statistics on the growth or decline of Islam? Do people like Tucker and Candace debate or just talk at people from their platform? I mean, I've seen Candace on Piers Morgan and stuff. So
She doesn't debate. She doesn't debate. They don't debate.
Updated statistics on the growth or decline of Islam. The most recent thing I saw was that the apostasy rate of young Muslims had gone from 24% to 26% most recently. And there was another statistic that I've seen differences. I've seen 70 or 80, but the people who converts to Islam, it's around 70% leave Islam within the first couple of years. So got stuff like that. Anyway, all right, we're ready to check out this Tucker speech.
Yes, just want to say, on my travels in Poland, I met one of our regulars in our chats, who actually asked to meet with me for a minute, and then I did meet, and then she actually gave me this rosary, which is very, very, very awesome. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say who it is, but it's one of our regular super chatters and chatters here. So that was a very, very nice move, and I love this. So, alhamdulillah.
You heard it here, folks. All right, so now we have Tucker's speech at the Charlie Kirk Memorial Service.
Oh, that made me emotional. Made me emotional to see that. Susie Wiles had tears in her eyes, which you don't often see in politics, but it's real. This is the most unbelievable thing I think I've ever seen. And I don't...
But what about the Russian shopping carts? Wasn't that more amazing?
Whatever happened...
Hey, you see that stadium, right? It was completely packed. So the police said on that day that so the capacity of that stadium is like 70,000 or something like that, and the police said that they are expecting over 100,000 people to arrive to the scene to celebrate Charlie Kirk. We got videos from very early on, from many hours before the event, before the doors were even opened. Thousands of people started lining up. I went to the event. I drove there. I rented a car and drove there with IP, and we had to park like 30 minutes away from the stadium, find some random spot at some random place, and then walk for a long time among crowds to reach the stadium. The stadium was completely packed. It was completely at capacity. Yet while it was at capacity, there were thousands of people still outside waiting. They had to arrange another stadium to pack people in there as well. So there were like over 100,000 people in person there. But the thing is, that stadium being there just for this, among 70,000 people, with the applause, with the sentiments, I never thought I would be impressed by the whole, contemporary Christian music and evangelical preachings and all that.
But, yeah, you guys hate it. You guys are all like, all you care about is like,
But I have to say, being there and listening to that contemporary Christian music and just having at some points like the entire stadium sing along, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing stuff. And I even appreciated all the preachings and all that. And I really liked what Frank Turek said. But the best thing was what Marco Rubio said. But anyway, just continue with this. I'm going to talk about it forever.
Oh yeah, just wanted to point out, free speech, who keeps spamming over and over again, protect free speech, protect free speech, protect free speech. You just got slow mode turned on. So everyone be sure to thank free speech, for getting slow mode turned on. Let's see if he calms down.
I actually put him in timer for 24 hours. Sorry.
Hey. Whoa. Hey, I don't like that. Now he's coming in on like 5 different channels. Okay, dude. I don't like that. I like protecting free speech, but you're coming now with at least 3 different channels and spamming. I put you on slow mode just so you wouldn't keep spamming the same thing over, and now you're doing it on multiple channels. Multiple channels, so you can keep doing it. Okay. Oh, you blocking them too? Oh, you got that on lockdown, AP?
Yes.
How dumb do you have to be trying to distract us about protect free speech, protect free speech, protect free speech? Talking about people who are diehard free speech fans right here, and you're just trying to be annoying as crap. All right, back to Tucker here.
Whatever happens next in America, I hope it's in this direction, because God is here and you can feel it. And Charlie would have loved this, not just because he loved large groups of people, but because ultimately he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop.
Oh, that was actually early. He went early in on I figured that was going to be like the what?
Isn't this quite some isn't this quite some misrepresentation of the story of Jesus? It's like a very secularized interpretation or representation or depiction of what actually happened. It's like, oh, he just spoke the truth about the leaders, and they didn't like it. That's why they wanted to get rid of him. So they got rid of him. That's not why they got rid of him. That's not why they wanted to kill Jesus. I mean, I guess you could, if you want to, if you want to compare somebody to Jesus in some way, you could compare that aspect or something. But that's not really why they wanted to kill him. So it's kind of it is weird to me that he presents the story in this way and kind of takes away the entire point of Christianity and the gospel.
And then doesn't want to say Jews. And so he says hummus eaters.
Yeah.
It's almost like someone told him, hey, Netanyahu called and he said, whatever you do, you better not say Jews. And Tucker's like, fine, I won't say Jews. I'll say hummus eaters. The hummus eaters. Let me back this thing up because that's interesting. So yeah, he just, I don't know why I thought that would be like in the middle or towards the end, but nope, he let out with the hummus eaters. Let's see.
And Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers.
Now, what you could say is true there is, yeah, a lot of the religious leaders did not like him because he was calling out their hypocrisy. And if you want the supreme example of that, Check out Jesus's his epic rant on "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites," and he called them out on all of their hypocrisy. True, that did enrage them, but somehow this is becoming the main point of his speech at Charlie Kirk's memorial service.
And they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way. That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way.
Hold on.
It doesn't.
Play it one more time and listen to the reaction of the crowd. Listen to if the crowd is also engaging in the laughter.
That'll fix the problem. It does problem.
A few people here and there, you know.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Everything is inverted, and the Beatitudes tell it, I think, the most crisply. Everything is sort of the opposite of what you think it's going to be. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. That is true, and you can feel it here. The thing about Charlie's message, I've thought a lot about it, and I'm trying not to be emotional because in addition to everything else...
This is so weird, man. This is so... it's so strange. I wanted to block this out, you know, and I did, but there's not a single person who gave a speech like this that night. It's like that day. Not a single person did something weird like this on that day. I don't know what happened to this guy. I don't know if he got scratched by a demon at night or something.
He did.
Okay.
See, you just randomly guessed that.
No, I
but
know
he
that.
said it. No, I know.
No, I know he said. But I'm not sure if he got scratched by a demon or if he has a brain tumor or something. I don't know what's happening, but something really weird happened, and it's like he can't hold a microphone for a minute without saying something really weird or without acting completely strange. And I'm not sure if he was always this way, but you know, the people who were there, every single one of them, you know, some people made jokes, but they were all done deliberately to cherish the memory of Charlie Kirk, to you know, make the audience remember something funny about Charlie, and all that. People were there to celebrate his memory. People were there to mourn him. To, you know, just stuff that you do at a slightly joyous but also mournful memorial service. And then he comes along and he has this whole thing. Anyway, I don't want to be too emotional anyway. So, what the hell? What is this?
Okay, hang on. Let's join him. Where does crazy laugh go? There we go. Okay, ready?
I've got an idea. Why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem.
It doesn't work, man. I tried it.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't seem right.
That'll fix the problem.
It doesn't work, man. I tried. I literally tried to join in. And
it doesn't work that way.
Right. It doesn't work that way, dude.
It doesn't work that way. Everything is inverted, and the Beatitudes tell it, I think, the most crisply. Everything is sort of the opposite of what you think it's going to be. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. That is true, and you can feel it here. The thing about Charlie's message, I've thought a lot about it, and I'm trying not to be emotional because in addition to everything else, He was a wonderful man and a decent man, and one of those rare people you meet who you just groove with in conversation and have these very intense conversations that you don't stop thinking about, which is my experience with him. But the main thing about Charlie and his message, he was bringing the gospel to the country. He was doing the thing that the people in charge hate most, which is calling for them to repent. So how is Charlie's message different?
Wait, what?
Which people in charge?
Yeah, so... Dude, okay. You caught the implication there, right? People in charge the people who are really in charge want to silence someone who's telling them to repent. Okay, who's that leave? That leaves the U.S. government or the ones who are really controlling the U.S. government, right?
In his message, he was bringing the gospel to the country. He was doing the thing that the people in charge hate most, which is calling for them to repent.
Dog whistle.
So how is Charlie's message different? Hate most, which is calling for them to repent. He was doing the thing that the people in charge hate most, which is calling for them to repent.
Okay, Tucker. Literally everyone who's in charge is on this stage. unless you think someone else is really in charge. So you're either accusing Trump and Vance and all these guys of wanting to silence Charlie because he was calling them out for their hypocrisy. AP,
I can support what you're saying with something very good. Before he spoke, I don't know how long before him that was, but maybe an hour or so before he spoke, Benny Johnson went on stage. Benny Johnson gave a speech that was quite emotional. That was that was full of solid rhetoric. What he actually did was he talked about how God puts people in power, and God has put today these people in power who are here together with us in this stadium, in the front row. You see the entire government represented. You see the Department of Defense, Department of this, Department of that. They are all here. The Vice President, the Secretary of State, the President himself is right here with us. The government is here with us. Those in charge are leading us, and so on. So Benny Johnson actually went on and gave that speech and talked about how those in charge of the country right now are here with us. And this is an opportunity where God leads us and gives those who are in charge the sword to lead. Then comes Tucker Carlson and says that calling people to repent and preaching the gospel is what those in charge hate the most. This is very funny if you combine these two things. According to Benny Johnson, those in charge are that's the Republican Trump government. But according to Tucker Carlson, those in charge hate it when you tell them to repent and to follow the gospel. So are they now these same people who are in charge, or is there somebody else who's in charge? I don't know. Gotta ask Tucker Carlson. Seriously, what is it with this whole thing? He's talking about people having this brilliant idea to just kill somebody. By the way, complete misrepresentation of what happened to Jesus, but to kill someone just to shut them up because they don't like what he's saying. And then, despite the fact that this perfectly compares to what just happened to Charlie Kirk, whom people are mourning here, his wife is there, he then lets out this maniacal laughter and goes on a whole laughing tirade. This is why I wanted to block him out, man, because I don't want to think about him when we have this fantastic event going on. We are fantastically remembering a fantastic person, Charlie Kirk, but whatever.
Yeah, so people are pointing out, he's saying the people in charge, and then people are going, is he referring to the Jews? Yeah, guys, keep in mind.
The Jews.
Keep in mind, when he says that Jesus came and annoyed the people in power. He annoyed the authorities. And then, so what's going to happen with the authorities? the authorities will get together in a room eating hummus, and then ask themselves, how do we get rid of this guy? How do we silence him? And he said, there's always one person who says, why don't we just kill him? And then they go with that. And then he says, and that's what Charlie Kirk was doing. He was ticking off those in power by calling out their hypocrisy. Like who? Was he calling out Trump? Was he calling out Trump and Vance and stuff like that? Some people said he's talking about the intelligence agencies. Were the intelligence agencies enraged because Charlie was sharing the gospel and that this would be something that enrages the intelligence agencies, who, not according to us, because in my experience, the Jews I see really love it when people are converting to Christianity, right?
Yes.
But if you take Tucker's view, like Jewish leaders are constantly just trying to destroy and wreck Christianity. So who do you think he's talking about, guys? Matter of fact, let's go and let him finish his speech, because I don't know what he's going to say after this. Let him finish his speech, and then we'll take a little poll. Who's he talking about that Charlie enraged, and then someone decided to off him? Or I want to give one interpretation that would not actually be insane if this is what he meant, right? If what he means is you have all these like extreme leftists and they're not like in control of the government and so on, but they've achieved a lot of power in society, and Charlie's exposing them, and therefore one of them decided, you know what? Why don't we just kill him? That wouldn't be insane, because at least that actually kind of fits what happened, right? At least that would actually kind of fit what happened. But we'll see what he's talking. We'll see if that's what he means. But he's got to give some indication of that, because he just the only parallel he used was hummus eaters.
To the country, he was doing the thing that the people in charge hate most, which is calling for them to repent. So how is Charlie's message different? And Charlie was a political person who was deeply interested in coalition building and in getting the right people in office, because he knew that vast improvements are possible politically. But he also knew that politics is not the final answer. It can't answer the deepest questions, actually. That the only real solution is Jesus. And the reason, it's really simple. Politics, at its core, is a process of critiquing other people and getting them to change. Christianity, the gospel message, the message of Jesus, begins with repentance. Christianity calls upon you to change. Our core prayer given to us by Jesus, the Lord's Prayer, demands that we forgive other people, but preceding that is a request for our forgiveness. In other words, forgive us our sins, meditate on what we've done wrong, how we've fallen short, and then it becomes possible to forgive other people. That is a call to change our hearts from Jesus, and that is the only way forward in this country. That is the only solution to where we all know we're going. And Charlie knew where we were going.
See, it's the rest of it is a pretty good speech. I mean, what he's saying here is a pretty good message. Why did he have to start it with that completely weird act? This part is actually very good, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to see if he gives any indication of who he's talking about, the people in power who, I mean, the only point of bringing up the story about Jesus is people in power decide to silence someone and then kill him. And then he brings up Charlie annoying the people in power for calling them out by preaching the gospel. So there's only a couple of people or groups that he could be referring to here. So we'll do a little poll here after, but we'll hear him out to see if he gives any indication.
Without that. And that is not a call for being politically passive. Of course not. I stood in many stages with Charlie calling for various people to be elected, particularly Donald Trump. And I'm proud of that.
Okay.
It's only an acknowledgement that
He just it's not Trump. He just said Charlie was supporting Trump.
So who's in charge then?
particularly Donald Trump. And I'm proud of that.
We're proud of
It's only an acknowledgement that what Charlie was really saying is that change begins, the only change that matters, when we repent of our sins. Me. A recognition that the real problem is me and how fallen I am. And that was the reason that Charlie was fearless at all times, truly fearless to his last moment. He was unafraid, he was not defensive, and there was no hate in his heart. I know that because I've got a little hate compartment in my heart, and I would often express that to Charlie about various people, and he would always say, that's a sad person, that's a broken person, that's a person who needs help, that's a person who needs Jesus. He said that in private because he meant it. So I guess I would just say this gathering and God's presence, God's very obvious presence in this room, the presence of Jesus, is a reminder of what we've known for 2,000 years, which is any attempt to extinguish the light causes it to burn brighter. Every single time. So as we proceed into whatever comes next, and clearly something's coming next, remember this moment. Remember being in a room with the Holy Spirit humming like a tuning fork. This is the way. Right here. This is the way. And that is what Charlie Kirk was saying underneath it all. Thank you, and God bless.
You forgot to say God bless America.
All right, guys, so I'm posting a poll right now as far as, again, he brings up the story of Jesus. Jesus ticks off the hummus eaters in charge, and the hummus eaters in charge decide we have to silence this man, and someone suggests, hey, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. Maniacal laugh. Then he turns to, and Charlie was like that. He was really upsetting the authorities, and the obvious implications that they decided that they had to silence him, and then someone decided to kill him. So who are the authorities? I'm going to go ahead. I'm starting the poll now. Who are the authorities Tucker suggests wanted Charlie dead? All right, guys.
Here's the thing.
Got the poll. What?
I just caught on something that he just said, which some people might think is a hint. I don't want to think it is, but if you want to understand what I'm talking about, just do the following. Google the phrase in quotation marks every single time. It's actually a meme, and also a what is that? An insider slang something that refers to pointing out racial patterns or you know, stuff. It is used very much online in certain circles. So I can imagine some people picking up on that and thinking, was that a message? But that might be just complete coincidence. I don't know.
Let's see. For some reason, Paul said, David, why don't you know that he was killed by a young man? Oh, yeah, I know that he was killed by a young. We're not talking about what happened. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about what Tucker Carlson meant in his speech. And right now, so I posted, who are the authorities Tucker suggests wanted Charlie dead? Trump administration, 2%. U.S. intelligence agencies, 5%. Jews, 65%. And leftists, 28%. So it looks like almost very few people think he was talking about the Trump administration or U.S. intelligence agencies. So it's around 2/3. Around 2/3 are saying that he was implying it's the Jews. And then the second big group would be leftists.
I have to say, still, having listened to all of this, some people were saying it's going to get worse or he's going to say something again and all that. This was not the worst thing I've heard from Tucker Carlson. It was actually quite reserved. It was quite
That's
okay.
what you have to do. That's what you have to do because you want to keep speaking at these things because you want to take all these people with you.
Maybe somebody told him, "Hey, how about tone it down with the political remarks? This is this is going to be an event for Charlie." Or maybe he thought, maybe I shouldn't do it this time. I don't know, but it seemed quite mild, and I also don't think that it is such a blatant or terrible form of hinting at Jews again this time. But he did draw some stupid comparisons and did the maniacal laughter, which makes everything worse, and also did misrepresent the killing of Jesus.
I would basically, I think in probabilities. So I would actually, my thinking on this would be very similar to what the poll shows. Like, who would I guess that he's talking about? Because he doesn't say. But the only example he gives were the hummus eaters in charge. That's the example he gives. That's the parallel. And so if you just listen to the rest of the speech, that would kind of give the only indication. He's saying someone's in charge who wanted to silence Charlie Kirk, and someone invariably eventually says, why don't we just kill him, and so on. So if you were going with what the investigation has shown and think that he's appealing to that, you would think, oh, he's talking about the actual leftist whose authority is being threatened by Charlie, who's calling them out and exposing them. And therefore, one of them said, why don't we just take him out? That would make sense. If you pay attention to what Tucker says over and over again and the deranged theories he keeps espousing in his videos and so on, you'd think obviously Jews, because they're the ones who are behind everything, and they're the ones who are actually in charge of our country. So they actually have the authority. And why would Charlie annoy them? Because they're the ultimate enemies of Christianity. They're trying to extinguish and destroy Christianity wherever they find it. And so they said, this guy's going to make Christianity the main driving force in the U.S. again. We have to stop him. We have to stop him because what if we had a nation of Charlie Kirks who are super pro-Israel? We can't allow that. We have to wipe him out.
The funny thing is, I've been to the other Turning Point event, and I've been to this memorial service. There are quite some Jews there,
You said quite some Jews.
Yeah. There are quite a lot of Jews there, supporting Turning Point, supporting Charlie Kirk. There were Jews there at the other event when he was still alive. There were significant, noticeable Jews there at the memorial service, seemingly religious Jews, Orthodox Jews, at an event which was all about praising Jesus and all that.
That's because they're trying to trick you, Christians, to let your guard down so they can kill even more of you.
And Jews loved Charlie Kirk.
They pretended to love him. They hated him because of the gospel he preached.
Loved Charlie Kirk. In fact, you will see that online, for example, Jews are very, very much defend. Like they defend the heck out of Charlie Kirk and love him. So this is all a little bit weird,
It's really, really weird. All right, so guys, we got some more speeches to go through. We're going to check out Posobiec.
I kind of want to listen to Marco Rubio, man. Have you listened to Marco Rubio?
We can. We could go straight to Marco Rubio, man. What is he? Secretary of State? Secretary of State?
Yeah.
Marco Rubio.
Yeah. It was a very religious...
guy Trump used to call Little Marco. He was awesome at nicknaming people. Hey, whatever you think about Trump, he was the all-time greatest at coming up with people's nicknames for them.
It's fine. Do you support the people who killed Jesus? Such a weird question.
Who said that?
Somebody in the chat says, well, I love them. I love those people.
Do you support the people who killed Jesus? Which people?
I support. I love those people who killed.
What do you mean?
Jesus.
What are you talking about? You're talking about Jews or Romans?
That's the funny thing. Actually, I wanted to post something about that earlier today. Then I thought I'll just give it some time, maybe to think about it, because there was during the day once again the whole discussion coming up of like, Jews killed Jesus. No, it wasn't actually Jews. It was the Romans and all that. And I thought to myself, it's kind of a silly discussion. I mean, historically speaking and scripturally speaking, it was certain Jews who wanted Jesus to be killed. So it was certain Jews who caused his death. It was technically the Romans in charge who did do the act of killing him, because the Jews had no authority to kill him. But there's nothing wrong with saying that that certain Jews killed Jesus, right? So this is what Paul says. He says the Jews who killed Jesus, or who killed Christ. But the thing is, so there's nothing wrong with saying that, but it's just how you say it, because the implication there is not the Jews as a collective killed Jesus. It is not the Jews as a collective being responsible for killing Jesus. It is also not the Jews as a collective being guilty or evil or bad because they killed Jesus. None of this applies. None of this is valid within the biblical context. None of this is valid within the Gospels, where Jesus says, "Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do." This is not compatible with Paul himself, who writes about the Jews and his love for them and his hope for them and the eventual reconciliation, and where he even says that they are enemies for the gospel's sake, but they are beloved for the sake of their ancestors, for the sake of their patriarchs, forefathers.
Hey, look, Trump 1 says they even say they would do it again today. Who
says it?
Who?
I know who.
Hey, Trump 1. You said they say. So who's they?
I know who. He's going to refer to one person, and that is the comedian Sarah Silverman. She actually went on stage and made a stupid joke, a monologue about, yeah, we did it. I would do it again. Something like that. It was a really dumb joke.
No. That's why I'm asking, who's the they here? Because this is the only group. This is the only group you're allowed to do this with, and that the guys like Trump 1 will do it with 100% of the time. Anything any Jew has ever said or done, they will say, "You see, the Jews." Yeah. Come on, hey, where are you at, Trump 1? I give you an opportunity. Who's the they?
But I can give you this link to this old video. There's this Jew woman who says it on stage. What do you say about that?
You see, that's why they say they would do it again. It's all of them. Sarah Silverman is the chief spokesman of all Jews. The comedian is the chief spokesman of all Jews of all time, you see.
You see, why would Sarah Silverman say that? How about you open the Talmud and you see what Sarah Silverman says in the Talmud?
Anyway, are you watching Marco Rubio?
Huh? I'm interested in all the Tucker fans who showed up to attack Jews. Hey, look, here you go. So you have Trump 1 who said that, and then you have Apologetics Roadshow, but answer, who handed Jesus over to the Romans, and why do they want Jesus killed, huh? Say it, you guys are back, then up.
The Sadducees.
Yeah, the leaders who, some of them were ticked off because he's calling out and exposing their hypocrisy. And others would have thought that he's going to cause an uproar and that the Romans are going to crush them. So better off to get him out of the way. But actually, we're asking what's your point? Lots of people have been killed by leaders over the centuries.
You want to be very specific here, very, very specific. Here is a very, very specific one. You want to ask who killed him. You want to ask who handed him over, who did it. There were two groups at the time in Judea, two groups at the time in the land of Israel, the two sects in charge that occupied the Sanhedrin, the Jewish court, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. The Pharisees are the predecessors of what you call nowadays rabbinic Jews. The Pharisees are the forefathers of the rabbinic Jews. The rabbinic Judaism developed out of Phariseeism. They were, however, opponents, rivals of the Sadducees, who were very much in charge of the Sanhedrin. In fact, the one main figure who is in charge of the Sanhedrin, who is at the head of the Sanhedrin in the Gospels, who is Caiaphas, was actually a Sadducee. He was not a Pharisee. So he was not a forefather or forefigure of the rabbinic Jews. He was rather a forefather of the rivals of the so it was actually the Sadducees who were very, very much insistent on killing Jesus. The Pharisees were very divided on this. The Pharisees didn't really had quite some objections, and some of them actually became righteous and followed Jesus. So the Pharisees weren't really very adamant on distributing the death penalty to left and right, and they talked about how to deal with this matter, how to solve this matter, but they weren't really unanimous about killing him. In fact, many of them were scared about this. They were scared of this. The Sadducees were very, very firm about just taking him out, killing him. They were elitists. That's what they did. Later on, you even see this in the Acts. If you continue after the Gospels in the Acts, you will see that there is a huge disagreement between the Pharisees and the Sadducees again in the martyrdoms of the apostles, and the Pharisees actually come in to defend Paul, the apostle Paul, while the Sadducees want him killed. So it is in the context of the New Testament, it is once again, in that case, even after Jesus, the Sadducees, not the Pharisees, who want the early Christians badly killed. The Pharisees are actually quite more reasonable. The Pharisees actually come in and say, hey, how about we don't kill anybody? How about we don't do that? And they are, if you want to be very technical and if you want to ask who handed them over, they are the forefathers, the predecessors of today's rabbinic Jews. So today's rabbinic Jews came from the one tradition that was actually more reasonable when it came to Jesus, when it came to the early Christians, when it came to the apostles. Those who were more insistent on killing Jesus and killing the apostles were the Sadducees, and guess what? The Sadducees died out. They didn't make it. They no longer exist. They disappeared because they were all about holding on to the temple and having it as their place of authority, and just sucking up to the Roman authorities and just doing whatever the Roman authorities want them to do. They died out, especially after the temple was lost. The Pharisees took over and turned into the rabbinic Jews, and those people were quite reasonable compared to the Sadducees. So if you want to be very, very specific and ask this question, you should be more specific and say the rabbinic Jews that you hate so much are probably less likely to be associated with those who killed Jesus or who killed the apostles. On the other hand, they were actually quite reasonable. So there you
go. He actually responded though.
Yeah.
He said the same. I asked, who are they? He said the same they that paid for your and AP trip to Israel.
You mean our audience, our viewers?
Yeah, because we crowdfunded it, and then we said, hey, everyone wants to chip in, and then so yeah, dude. Sorry, I'm going to give you one chance to apologize for being a freaking idiot. We actually said, hey, guys, we posted a video saying, hey, we want to take a trip to go interview some people, and the whole thing was crowdfunded. So you just said that you just accused all of our viewers and fans who chipped in $5, $10, and so on, so we could take a trip there. You just accused all of them of killing Jesus.
And you are correct.
But not in the sense you want. So I'm going to give you one opportunity. You know what? I'm not giving you any opportunity. You're correct. You're an evil scumbag, dude.
You're correct.
You're an evil, lying scumbag. Go back to your Groiper channel or your super online Orthobro channel. And
he died for us because of us. You're correct. Good guess.
Hey guys, have you noticed that all the Groipers and the online Orthobros and all the other groups that come in and try to derail everything,
stop attacking Orthobros, man.
They constantly just make things up. And they don't even care. There's like zero inclination to be accurate about anything. Isn't that weird?
Powerful.
And then they get mad if you don't take them seriously. Let's just take a couple of super chats and then we'll jump into the... Who'd you say you want to watch?
Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio. All right, so we've got the greatest German Turk is back. Who's that? Where? I'm not German or Turk. AP, how dare you show your face on this live stream after you betrayed D. Wood, threatening to replace him with a nerd? Explain yourself.
I thought that was David Wood because they look the same.
It's like saying Arnold Schwarzenegger looks the same as Steve Urkel. Thoughts on the Pope quoting the Hadith? Did the Pope quote the Hadith?
Yeah.
What? What Hadith did he quote? Dude, that should be a video.
It was some retarded. He was giving a speech about how he appreciates our Jewish brothers who have the value of healing the world, which kind of was a misrepresentation as well. Then he also says, and our Muslim brothers who also follow this and this, and in their hadith it says this and this and that. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I just fleetingly saw it while I was traveling. You got to check that out.
We will check that out. That is interesting stuff. I heard the Al-Zut knew Muhammad as Sukdeep. I don't know what that means, but thoughts on the UK, Australia, and Canada recognizing Palestinian statehood? Yeah, we'll have to keep that short because we have all kinds of thoughts on that.
I mean, so it's okay. They should just give over some of their cities to the Palestinians, you know.
Yeah, isn't that weird? On further analysis, Tucker's analogy to Christ is almost correct, though he stated Christ was killed simply because what he said about the Pharisees. Rather, it was the truth Christ said about himself that got him killed.
They wanted to kill him because he claimed to be God.
D. Wood, get ready for Mario Kart, Smash Bros, and Minecraft. No. We could do Call of Duty, Black Ops, Zombie Mode or something. Hi, D. Wood and AP. It's good to see you again, AP. I saw you with your new co-host. Looking forward to your new live streams, and thank you for going to the memorial. I hope it was amazing as it looked online.
Thank you. It was amazing. The highlight of it was to meet Mike Winger. Yeah.
I can only imagine the producers in the background. Shut it off. We're going to get canceled. Can't believe that was on live TV.
The guy posted backstage, he posted some footage where he's actually in the studio with his bacon shirt, and they're telling him, yeah, sit here and look at that and that camera. Like, I didn't even understand. Like, wasn't the bacon shirt a hint?
That's Sky News. Yeah, I'm thinking they got him on because they want to have some stuff that's pushing the envelope a little bit, but he just went like too far for them to start talking about the Al-Zut banging Muhammad in the desert and stuff. And they probably never heard of that before. And they're like, this guy's crazy. We have to shut this down and apologize. We have from Candace, it was the frankest. That's true. Pasobek is a scumbag. I'll give you the info on Twitter. That's interesting.
I shall see.
Mentioning the Al-Zut was the perfect move. It was the perfect move. That's not normal. Audio clip, right, meow. That's not normal. That's not normal. D-Wood, you should send the bacon guy a Korean shirt. I think he meant Quran shirt. A Quran shirt. Korean Quran shirt. AP, did you see Trump and Elon in person? Hi, Mike Winger.
I saw. I didn't see Elon. I only saw that he was on.
They were in like a booth type thing. That's probably
at first he was at the bottom. He was far in front of us. I tried looking and I couldn't see him really. I waited for Donald Trump to come out on stage. I actually waited for him to come out there and to see him right there in person. Once I did see him, I took off. So I only listened to like two minutes of Trump talking. Then I said to IPA, I'm leaving, going to the car. Because I didn't want to wait for everyone to go out at the same time and then be stuck there forever. So, alhamdulillah.
Even you guys criticize Israel. Sometimes you criticize Bibi, but that doesn't mean to hate the Jews. I believe with Israel's right to defend itself from Zut.
That's true.
Everyone has a right to defend themselves from the Al-Zut. This is not Afghanistan. This is not Pakistan. We have a right to defend themselves against people who want to zoot us.
That's true.
CNN fans are now going after Erica, saying her and the Turning Point team sacrificed Charlie. She knows exactly what she's doing. Demon. Yeah. What
I
are
don't wanna
CNN? What are CNN? I've heard of
CNN? I have no idea what a CNN is.
Maybe David is the one hiding in her winger, you see. What's wrong with everybody? Her husband is BFF with the Tater Tots, and she defends them to death. Was her husband in on this PhD trafficking? Hi, man. I'm just asking questions. Oh, yeah. That's something that needs to be pointed out. I've never gotten around to making a video about it. It's like the stuff that Candace will take as evidence. Like when she said Elie Wiesel was not in a concentration camp. There's one reference that was massively discredited about a guy who claimed to be his cousin with no evidence and said he wasn't even there. And she'll take that as decisive proof. If that's where you set the bar as what constitutes proof, you have a way better case that Candace and her husband were involved in Andrew Tate's sex trafficking ring. You'd have a way better case. That would explain why she's defending. Keep in mind, I don't believe that. I'm just saying, if you set the bar that low for evidence, you've got that. Two separate mass shooters have said they were inspired by Candace. I didn't believe either one of them. But if you're just going to say, oh, someone said it, therefore this is the conclusive proof. You could accuse Candace of being of inciting multiple mass shooters to kill tons of people and of being involved in a sex trafficking ring. And you'd have better evidence for those claims than you have for lots of the insane stuff, she says. The goat sound is fake. Google Andrew Whelm scream. What? Andrew Whelm scream? Google Andrew Whelm scream, AP. There were people flowing to churches after Kirk's assassination. Do you think it will end up in a revival, or it's just people going through emotions? I would guess it will be a mixture.
Yeah.
There will be some people that, something's happening right now, and so they're going to go to church, and then they're going to stop later, and there will be some people who keep going to church. So some people, yeah. It's not going to be like you get 100% of the people who are saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to church for the first time. It's not going to be like 100% stay and keep going. It'll be a mixture. Just paying Jizzy. I love you guys. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. He is chilling with the angels. By the way, met someone on TT who said Mossad unalive Charlie Kirk, and it was a fact.
What is TT?
TT.
TikTok. Okay.
Oh, TikTok. Friday, people were spamming Lotus Eaters with Al Zut, and Carl was the only one who knew. Nice.
What? He knew?
Of course he knows. Everyone's learning about the Al Zut.
I should have asked him about the Al Zut, man. I just saw him in London.
We will not be silenced, ladies and gentlemen. We will not. You want to talk about people trying to cover up the truth and silence the truth? Learn about the story of Al Zut and the 14th century effort to sweep this under the rug. Not going to happen, because we're on the case. Erica Kirk forgave her husband's murderer, which means she gave up her right to violent revenge. The murderer, however, is not absolved of his crime. Of course he's not. He's going to either spend the rest of his life in prison or he's going to be executed. You know what? I would have to guess. I would guess that after he's convicted, I would guess that Erica will probably speak at his sentencing and ask that he not be given the death penalty. That just seems like what she would do. Where you can combine sort of justice with mercy. I would guess that's what she's going to do.
It's incredible, man. I feel like a lot of people have shared the sentiment that she should have been the last person to speak.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe she just offered to have Trump speak instead. But and we're like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll talk about my achievements. Talk about all the things.
Talk about how great I am. How great. Yeah. Keep in mind, I haven't seen Trump's speech, but
best president.
We kind of know Trump. We kind of know Trump, right? So,
but.
Charlie knew he saw so far in advance before anyone else saw it that I'd be the greatest president of all times, and we see how he's been proven right. Let me just go through a list of all the things I've done.
But she was absolutely fantastic, and it's like she was powerful. She was the strongest person to speak on stage, most impactful. It was. I mean, everybody waited for her. And you watched her speech. Now you might not understand because you're a psychopath, but for normal people, it was like very, very, very moving.
What?
It was very moving, and it was brutal. It was very, very admirable because she just lost her beloved husband to a brutal murder in front of everyone's eyes on camera. She's grieving, she's battling the tears and the breakdown, and she goes out there and she strongly speaks and gives hope, shows leadership, tells people how to be better. Does all of that with such a voice. I don't know. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Interesting. Romans 13, the young man must still face justice from our, yes, deeply flawed human-made justice system with all the rights to due process. I don't know who you're preaching here. No, literally no one is saying he should walk away and not face justice. Literally no one. Who are you responding to? Tucker or Candace in the title attracts bots. That would make sense. We must denounce all violent revenge. The deep state will make attempts on the lives of leftist influencers in order to falsely blame Christians. I don't know what you're talking about here. Please pray for the conversions of Tucker and Candace. What are you talking about? Tucker's and Candace are the greatest Christians in the world, according to them. David, I saw you in a China One buffet commercial. Oh, yeah? Really? Where? That would make sense. I've been to a bunch of China buffets. Tucker admits Jews
She's
are...
in China? That's weird.
Oh, yeah, here you go. Tucker admits the Jews are the OG hummus eaters of Israel. Yeah, that's a good point. He's like, you see, all this stuff, this proves that the Jews were there because they were the hummus eaters. Good to see AP and Diddy Jr. streaming again. Yep. Hi, D-Wood and AP. I enjoy watching you guys. Please check out the Dr. Daff show, Christian Women versus Muslim Women Debate. If you haven't already, would love to see what you guys think of it. I have not heard of that, but I will.
I shall
check it out. All right, now we have Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
About maybe 10 or 12 years ago, a person I knew very well, had been very helpful to me in my campaigns when I was in the Senate, came to me and said she had met this very impressive young man. And he was going to start this group to go on college campuses and try to convince young Americans that ours is the greatest country in the history of the world and that Marxism was bad. And I remember thinking back then, I'm going to admit to you guys, I was a little skeptical. I said, college campuses, you're going to do that? Why don't you start somewhere easier, like, for example, communist Cuba, you know?
Did you catch that, AP?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But my skepticism was proven wrong. In place after place over the last 12, 14, 16 years, we've seen this renaissance. Understand where we were at that time in our history. Understand where we are still today in many places, where young Americans are actively told that everything that they were taught, that all the foundations that made our society and our civilization so grand, they were all wrong, they were all evil, that marriage is oppressive, that children are a burden, that America is a source of evil, not of good in the world. Mm-hmm. And here was this voice that inspired a movement in which young Americans were told that is not true. The highest calling we are called to is to be in a successful marriage and to raise productive children. And a movement that taught them that ours was not a great country, but the greatest, most exceptional nation that has ever existed in the history of all of mankind. And that it's worth fighting for, it's worth defending, it's worth preserving, and it's worth passing on to the next generation.
Wait a minute. Has this guy not seen Tucker's video glorifying Russia and talking about all their breads and shopping carts?
He probably missed it.
He probably missed it. Hey, Marco, I mean, you got to go check out Tucker's stuff, man, if you think this is the greatest country.
This was the mission and the work of Charlie Kirk. And a couple things that stand out about him. He led this movement, but he did so with incredible knowledge. It's unbelievable how much he knew. He came to me very recently. He said some quote. I said, who said that? He said, Marcus Aurelius. I said, what district does he represent?
It's people's. I might have to go read that again at some point, but I think I read it twice while I was in jail. I couldn't stand the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. It was terrible.
Really?
And it wasn't. I mean, he's considered the last of the great Stoic philosopher. I thought it was terrible. Right before that, I read Epictetus, who was also a Stoic philosopher. I loved Epictetus. Loved what he wrote. Couldn't stand Marcus Aurelius. Anyway, I have no idea why people. I gotta go back and read it because people quote him and they're like, that was horrible. Anyway,
I'm just a little bit confused about one thing here. I wasn't sure. Even I was there, and I was in the room listening to us in the stadium, and when he gave Marcus Aurelius as an example, and that which district does he represent? When he gave that as an example of, I don't even know who that is, but I don't know. Is is that a good example for somebody that educated people might not know who that is? I don't know. I was a bit surprised by that, by the example. Is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Are you saying that, like, why would Marco Rubio be bragging about not knowing who Marcus Aurelius was?
Yes.
Oh, and guys, if you don't see, I'm thinking of the guy who wrote Meditations.
I love Marco Rubio, but it was a strange thing because I would expect somebody to know who that is. You know?
There are two reasons you might know Marcus Aurelius, guys. One, he was again considered the last of the great Stoic philosophers, but also he was an emperor of Rome. He was the guy from Gladiator. So if you didn't know the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, you should know Gladiator. He was the guy that Commodus killed so he could take over. That was Marcus Aurelius there. Anyway.
I kind of knew who it was, but he said back, no, it's a Roman, philosopher king or emperor. His incredible knowledge. Let me tell you that one of the last messages I had with him was just a few days before his passing, where
people were saying it was a joke, lol. What are you talking about? Saying he quoted
he's
quoting Marcus Aurelius to him, and he's like, I don't know, who's that? That sounded like he was serious.
Wrote me from overseas. I'm in South Korea. I have many concerns I want to share with you when I get back. He was constantly expanding his horizons, but he just didn't have knowledge. He had wisdom, an uncanny amount of wisdom for a man as young as he was. Wisdom that sometimes it takes a lifetime to accumulate. He had it in just 31 years.
I have to say, so when I first met with Charlie Kirk, I was actually quite surprised, quite amazed by. It's some of the things that he appeared to know that I was a little bit surprised by were, some basic things that I think most people would not know. Some more complicated things, but he invited me for a conversation about Islam and about me and Islam, and I was surprised by how much he knows about Islam. How much he knows about Muhammad, how much he knows about the Quran, how much he knows about the Hadith, how much he knows about different Islamic things. But he sits down with me and just and asks me, and I basically serve the role there of confirming the things that he already knows about Islam. But then he also, despite saying I don't know anything about Orthodox Christianity, then briefly asked me about Eastern Orthodox Christianity, and then presented his knowledge of it by breaking down one of the most fundamental things about Eastern Orthodox Christianity, which is the theology of talking about what God is not rather than what God is. And I was very surprised by how he had grasped that. So, the guy was just, I don't know, he was full of knowledge about about random things, about the essence of different ideas and beliefs. Very, very incredible guy. I don't know.
Yeah, and I would say to everyone out there who wants to do anything sort of in that ballpark, meaning you may not be the main guy who's going around with a huge crowd of thousands of people around him on a college campus and so on, but you could be a person who has discussions with young people and so on. You have a huge stockpile of Charlie's interactions with young people on college campuses. So you can watch a lot of those videos, see what young people are asking and talking about and what objections they're raising on college campuses, and seeing how Charlie responded. And some of it you'll agree with, some of it you might think, I don't actually agree with what he said there or something. But you have a huge source of information there if you want to do anything that's sort of in that ballpark. And yes. I'm not even sure you're going to get another Charlie Kirk, like one guy who can do all that. You might need to Frankenstein him together with like a bunch of people doing something similar, something like that. But if you think, oh man, these young people today, I'm not sure. I don't know what they're going to be talking about or what they're going to bring up. So I don't actually want to have these discussions and so on. You can actually go through and check out what people are saying and how Charlie Kirk responded and so on. And then it'll give you an idea. They'll give you an idea of how to do something.
Beast.
He was also bold.
Mm-hmm.
It is so easy. And listen, I've been guilty of it. I think many of us have been guilty of this. You hide behind the walls and you surround yourself with people that agree with you. We do it as a society all the time. Increasingly, people are moving into neighborhoods with other people that agree with them politically and isolate themselves from people that do not agree with them. But Charlie Kirk was bold. He actively sought out to engage peacefully, respectfully, those who he disagreed with. As recently as 2 days ago, we learned of one of the hosts on CNN who said that one of the messages he had gotten just a few days before Charlie's passing was from him, inviting him to dialogue. And he did this on campuses, he did this on podcasts, he did this on radio shows, he did this on television shows. Time and again, he sought to engage those he disagreed with because he understood that we were not created to isolate ourselves from one another, but to engage. The irony in all this is that what our nation needs, one of the many things it needs, is the ability to discuss our differences openly, honestly, peacefully, respectfully. And Charlie Kirk did that more than anyone alive in America today is doing.
Yes.
Hey,
Indeed.
repenting sinner 650. You're posting dancing Israelis in the chat. Going to give you an opportunity because I'm just a nice, merciful guy. Giving you an opportunity to explain why you're posting that when we're trying to watch speeches from Charlie Kirk's memorial, and you're here posting dancing Israelis.
I have to say, I've seen the dancing Israelis. We were in Jerusalem, and there was like one night. I don't know if it was a cool night, but there were a bunch of Israelis out there dancing in the bars and all that, with some really nice Israeli music. Lots of them dancing, religious folks and others. There are lots of them. If you're interested in dancing Israelis, you can travel to Israel. You can walk among them. You can dance with them, or you can just look up videos of Israelis dancing. You can look up music videos of Israelis dancing. There's a lot of stuff out there. So
yeah. So dancing Israelis, giving you an opportunity right now. All you said was bring me up. Bring you up what? Giving you the opportunity right now to explain why you're over here bringing up dancing Israelis as we're trying to watch these speeches from Charlie Kirk's memorial. So go ahead and explain it. Because you could be talking about what AP's talking about, that Israelis love to dance and so on, or
they love to dance.
We don't understand.
Israelis love to dance. It is part of the tradition, and you can find that too. Just Google Israeli dancers, Israeli dance. You can find quite some dances from Israelis. They're good at dancing and they love dancing.
We getting any response? Because, dude, I'm just going to have to block you if you don't give a response. Isn't it weird? Like, I give people a chance to respond and defend themselves or to make anything remotely resembling a valid point, and they just never do.
Actually, the real funny thing is looking up Hasidic Jews dancing at Jewish weddings. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, now he said, bring me up. Do you not know of the dancing Israelis? Yeah, we know what we're talking about. We just wanted to give you a chance to show that you're not a freaking clueless, idiotic Candace Owens drone bot who's never had an original thought in your entire pathetic loser life.
Here's
No,
your
you don't.
response, repenting sinner. You're clearly not a repenting sinner. You're clearly a lunatic and an evil
Racist, lying,
person.
evil scumbag.
Here's the thing: you're also not interested in the truth, because if you were actually interested in the truth, you will quickly find out that the whole dancing Israeli things is a complete conspiracy theory. There were never dancing Israelis. There was a group of Israelis who were standing on top of a van, watching as one of the planes hit the Twin Towers. They arrived after the towers hit on the scene in a parking lot where they stood on their vans and started taking photos of the buildings in the distance. A woman saw them out there and said that they look kind of strange, and she called the police. So the authorities came and arrested them and took them with them and started investigating the vehicle and those people, and they held them for quite a while. The funny thing about this is that the FBI reports actually say that on the day of the arrest, any suspicion that they might have any foreknowledge or might be related to the 9/11 incident was dropped, and they were kept only under different suspicions that they might be on some other mission or might have connections to other activities going on and so on. So, but none of this could be established. None of this could be established. They were never dancing, by the way. The whole dancing thing is completely made up. Those people, it was found out that they were in America under expired visas or under expired permits, so they had to be sent back. So they were eventually deported back to Israel. When they were in Israel, they actually went on TV to speak about this whole incident. And when they were asked what they were doing there, they said, we were there to just document and take photos. By which they meant they saw that the planes flew into the buildings and the buildings were burning, and they found a spot where they stopped and started taking photos. Of course, idiots and imbeciles like you started misinterpreting that statement and saying,
What does it mean when they say we were there to document? Does it mean they were on a secret mission by the Mossad to document the events?
yeah, that's why they arrived late to the scene with expired permits.
Yeah, and when you hear from the Candace Owens club today, they'll say yes, they realized they needed to document the collapse of the tower. Like, you didn't think there would be documentation of the collapse
Why? What's the point?
of the World Trade Center? There's not going to be any documentation of that unless you guys are across the river with a little camcorder. There's not going to be documentation. That's why you need the guy. This is what I mean, guys. This is what we're talking about. Once you decide what you want to believe, and then you just find any evidence that will, and it doesn't matter how debunked or discredited your evidence is, you just cling to it and state it as fact. You might be a Candace Owens fan. Let's just leave it.
Imagine those guys. They were like they just completed a mission of flying planes into the World Trade Center, and they were like, "Hey, hold on, let's stop here. Let's take some pictures that we can show our handlers at Mossad in case they don't believe that it actually."
Yeah, they want to believe. They want to believe we succeeded. There will be no proof that we succeeded in destroying the World Trade Center unless we get the camcorder here and we take the pictures.
Have to take a photo. Show to.
Yes, we got the proof. We got the proof here. We have the proof. Hey, now let's go eat some hummus. And
man,
people are stupid.
And Charlie Kirk was impactful. Impactful because of all the things I've said, but look around this place. There's 100-something thousand people here. The President of the United States is here. His entire cabinet is here. Television outlets and media outlets from all over the world are covering this. Mm-hmm. I just came from overseas, and every country I stopped, they gave us their condolences for his passing. Impactful. In just 31 years of life, he made a difference. He mattered, and he will matter now more than he ever has before.
I love this guy, man.
And let me close with this. How do you remember? This is a memorial service. It's to honor him. How do you best remember it? I'll take the liberty of saying what I think we can best do. Look, I think he had a tremendous impact on young Americans in general. I think he had a very special and direct impact on young men in this country. That's one of the greatest developments I've seen. It's been very positive. I think we remember him for that. I think we remember him for constantly saying, you want to live a productive life, get married, start a family, love your country. These are powerful messages. Mm-hmm. But I hope many who are watching, I imagine there are people watching here tonight that didn't know much about Charlie Kirk until 11 days ago. Maybe they were disengaged from politics. Maybe they were partially engaged.
Just so everyone knows, that was me. I'd watched AP's little discussion with him, and I'd seen one or two videos of him on college campuses. I saw one where one was about the founding fathers and stuff like that, and I may have seen one or two more and just didn't remember and stuff like that. But I was not really familiar with him until all of this.
I hope one of the things they take from this is that the movement Charlie Kirk led and started and gave fuel to was about politics, but not only about politics. It was deeper, it was broader. And I would say that, taking the liberty, but I'm confident he would agree, one of the things he wants us to take away from this, from all of this, is the following. His deep belief that we were all created, every single one of us, before the beginning of time, by the hands of the God of the universe, an all-powerful God, who loved us and created us for the purpose of living with him in eternity. But then sin entered the world and separated us from our Creator. And so God took on the form of a man and came down and lived among us. And he suffered like men. And he died like a man. But on the third day, he rose unlike any mortal man. And to prove any doubters wrong, he ate with his disciples so they could see, and they touched his wounds. He didn't rise as a ghost or as a spirit, but as flesh. And then he rose to the heaven, but he promised he would return, and he will. And when he returns, because he took on that death, because he carried that cross, we were freed from the sin that separated us from him. And when he returns, there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and we will all be together, and we are going to have a great reunion there again with Charlie and all the people we love. Thank you, and God bless you.
Do you know what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Do you see why I think that this was an extremely powerful speech?
It's pretty based. It's pretty based.
It's incredible, because I didn't, you are there and you expect the, Secretary of State, these politicians, to go up there and give speeches and, give some speeches the way politicians give speeches and be diplomatic and talk about, whatever politicians talk about. But then he goes there. He talks in such a wonderfully impactful, amazing way about Charlie Kirk. And then he concludes with the message of the gospel, without limiting it in any way, without keeping it generic, being very specific about it in such a powerful way. I don't know. I was there, and especially there when he mentioned, and he rose on the third day. I think everybody felt that when everybody standing there, everybody in that stadium felt that. I started feeling shivers, and people started getting up and applauding, and I don't know, from a politician, from the government, from the Secretary of State.
Yeah, that's what's crazy, man.
Like this.
Now, again, I haven't watched Trump's speech, but I've heard a lot of praise from you and from others about Marco's speech, J.D. Vance's speech, and so on. And so it is kind of amazing that you have like almost everyone in some tremendous place of power right now. It seems like everything like completely flipped from just a few years ago. It's like completely, it's just a complete reversal and so on. And it's like Charlie dies, and now it's, hey, you know what? We'll tell you exactly what we believe right now. Because it's not a time to be timid about what we believe. You guys just openly attacked. You guys just openly declared war on what we believe. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and tell you what we think.
That's also what J.D. Vance pointed out. Actually, he directly said it. He said in his speech, as far as I remember, I have generally been reluctant to speak in public about my faith, but over this last week, since the death of Charlie, I have spoken more about my faith than ever before, he said. That's what J.D. Vance said. And he was there like speaking about it very, very clearly and beautifully as well. So there is a great shift, including directly from the president to the vice president, the Secretary of State, from the government, people themselves. So I don't know. It was. This is why people kept calling it a revival. And so many people have said, I went to church for the first time. I opened the Bible for the first time. I said a
See,
prayer for
tons
the
of
first
those.
time. Yeah,
And what's interesting is some of the people saying that are like people I was already familiar with, right? It's not like some random person that no one's ever heard of. Although those are awesome too, but it's like people I've been seeing on X for years and so on. All of a sudden, people who've never shown the slightest interest in Christianity, all of a sudden saying, you know what? Hey, there's something here. This is something I want to look into now. So that's crazy.
I also want to point out one thing, which is, so people like to do this thing, especially online, this whole infighting and all that, or finger pointing at each other among Christian groups and all that. There's something that I really loved about Charlie, which is that he didn't do that at all. When he invited me, he asked me about Eastern Orthodoxy. When he invited others, he asked me about Catholicism. He spoke very beautifully of it. When he spoke to me, I posted the clip of it. He spoke about how beautiful Eastern Orthodoxy is, but also pointed out at the same time that he's an evangelical. He said, yeah, I'm evangelical, but Eastern Orthodoxy is beautiful. This is beautiful. That is beautiful. And here
Why would he say that? Why would he say that right before he was about to convert to Catholicism?
And here we just watched Marco Rubio, who is Catholic. So he gave this very powerful speech about Jesus. He's a Catholic giving that in front of a
So is Vance, right?
Yeah, Vance too. In front of a vastly Protestant audience, and this togetherness, this goodness, this beauty, this is what Charlie Kirk did, and I wish things were more. I mean, I don't wish. I hope that this can be more prevalent.
Yeah. Instead, we've got this. Mango Lemon Sauce says, David, I see you bashing Muslims all the time about the disrespect of Jesus, but why don't you ever dive into what the Talmud says about, my goodness, oh man, no one ever thought of bringing up the Talmud to us before, AP.
Wait, what Talmud? Well, why have I never looked into that?
Here we are watching talks from the memorial service for Charlie Kirk. Why aren't we focusing on what the Talmud says, man? So, hey, Mango Lemon Sauce, I'm going to give you. I keep giving people an opportunity here, but then they just end up just saying something even stupider than what they said originally. So, why do I talk about Islam so much? Well, because you have about 2 billion followers of an ideology that is actually on the taking over entire massive Western cities as we speak, and you have spokesmen for this ideology because it's exactly what's commanded from their fake prophet, that I'm dead and all my friends are dead and everyone I know is either dead or subjugated and the women taken as captives and so on. You're saying, hey, David, why are you concerned about that and focusing on that and not about what some rabbi said about Jesus 14 centuries ago? Why aren't you focusing on what the rabbi says? Even though if you walk up to a Jew, a randomly selected Jew, and said, hey, what about this rabbi and what he said 14 centuries ago? They will literally have no clue what you're talking about because they don't pay attention to it. Tell me, why should I focus on the rabbi from 14 centuries ago and what he said about Jesus and not as much on the people who are vowing to kill me and all my friends and subjugate my entire nation? Why? Just go ahead and give me a good. What's up?
Excuse me, an idea. I'm heading to Israel in October. Yeah, I'm going to be in Israel. I'm thinking of certain videos and projects to do. I'm thinking. So I just got this big, huge cross from Poland. I'm thinking I should make a video walking through Jerusalem for 24 hours to see how Jews react with this cross. See how many people spit on me. And then publish that.
Hey.
How about?
Yeah, hey, you should make a video. It'd be pretty rough, but walking in Jerusalem for 24 hours straight, wearing my cross. How many times do I get spit on? And just, you got to keep it rolling the entire time. You got to keep the camera rolling the entire time.
Yes. Inshallah.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Hey, so no response, mango lemon sauce? Mosh said, we'd ask you where you got it from. If they saw that awesome cross, they'd be like, where'd you get that from?
And I would say from Poland, the ancestral homeland of Jews. Yeah.
What is this mango lemon sauce? You come in here, what are you talking about the Talmud? Like, okay, why should I be focusing on that? Give me a reason why I should be because keep in mind, mango lemon sauce, you can say anything. You can show up and say, why aren't you focusing on Buddhism? Someone commented earlier, when are you guys going to talk about Hinduism?
You see,
what you're really asking is, why are you focused on all the things that are extremely relevant right now? And why are you focusing on forces that want to completely wipe you out instead of things that don't affect you at all, even slightly? That's what you're asking. That's what you're asking with a straight face. And I sit here and give you an opportunity to explain, are you as dumb as I think you are? Are you as stupid and brainwashed as I think you are? Or do you have some actual relevant point? And I give you the opportunity to make a relevant point, and you're completely incapable. Why?
Forget about it, man. Forget about mango sauce. Let's focus on Mosh Cohen.
All right. And you're banned.
Mosh is more interesting.
Don't have time. Don't have time. Don't have time for wasting my time.
Ash has more interesting stuff to say.
Hey, look what we have here. Blessed are the peacemakers. Candace Owens. You remember that?
Yeah.
Andrew, for anyone who doesn't know, Andrew Tate thought he quoted Candace Owens as the one who came up with the line, blessed are the peacemakers. It wasn't the people in power who took Charlie's life. Who is he covering for? Is he a secret furry scratched by demons, huh? Or was it his lover? Oh, if you want to say that there could be someone more than Tyler Robinson involved, that is entirely possible. Could be just.
Who else is called Robinson?
Could be just him. Could be him and his boyfriend. Could be one or two other people. What?
Who else is called Robinson? Who else could be involved? You think it's a coincidence? Tyler Robinson. Who else has a name starting with a T and is also called Robinson?
Just Tommy Robinson. That's it.
Tommy Robinson. What if he was involved as well? So
it could be. Tucker refers to himself as Jesus-like. He thinks that he is telling the truth while others don't. Gross. FYI, Candace thinks she is telling the truth. Jimmy Kimmel as well. So all are brave as Jesus. Yep, they all view themselves like that. It's like I'm out there bravely telling the truth, and the Jews are trying to silence me.
So here's the thing. Have you ever noticed that there's a huge similarity between Michael Jackson and Candace Owens? They look very similar. And when did Candace Owens become start getting relevant and popping up?
You're saying maybe Candace Owens is Michael Jackson.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I think you have as good of evidence for that and can make as good a case for that as a lot of the other things that Candace talks about. While Tucker's direction is clear, it's a problem when we react to vague baits, because it would make people who like Tucker to think we are overreacting. People who like Jews defended Tucker because this was vague dig. Candace did same to Shapiro. We need to respond only to clear digs. No, we'll respond to whatever we want, and we don't care what people think. Ha 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 ha. Tucker is a furry confirmed covering for his buds.
Yeah,
that would make a lot of sense. His
plausible.
laugh scares me almost as much as the al-zut. Yeah, that's how the al-zut were laughing when they were banging Muhammad. Hey, Tucker forgot to mention the shisha party they had after the killing. Can make up anything. Furries with trans boyfriends aren't in charge. Oh yeah, but you could say the far leftists still have a lot of influence and authority and stuff like that, as far as if you're thinking that they're still in charge in that way. Could he have meant the rulers of darkness and principalities? That would be a more charitable explanation, but it's Tucker, so no, I don't think he's talking about the demons getting together and saying, hey, how are we going to do this? Let's kill him. Tucker Carlson never got past losing the role to Joaquin Phoenix.
Nice.
After Charlie passed on Meghan's show, Tucker mentioned Israel. Then next convo with J.D. Vance about Charlie again mentions Israel. It's weird. Yeah. It is weird.
It is really weird.
Big fan, but when you look into it, it seems Israel killed Charlie. The government, Charlie, just started calling out Netanyahu. Okay, you've just identified yourself as a complete idiot. A kid named AJ. Israel, yes, he just started calling them out. No, he's always said wherever he disagrees with them, and he's always supported them. And that's what he was exactly the same.
You can find clips from 2 years ago and 3 years ago of him calling out Israel or Jews or also Christians, by the way. There's a very recent clip that he was actually very critical of fellow Christians.
So it's the Christians who said, oh my goodness, he just disagreed with us about something. Well, we have to kill him. Why? Keep in mind, dude,
Charlie had very firm convictions and principles, but he also liked to openly say when he disagrees on something. That's it.
Yeah, and a kid named AJ. Dude, again, it's the exact same thing with the dancing Israelis. It would never cross your mind, of all the people standing there with a camera, which was everybody who had a camera who started seeing the towers falling. If you saw some Chinese people pointing a camera, you would say, oh, you see, this is the plot of the Chinese government. And they sent these guys to document it because there'd be no other way. You wouldn't say anything that stupid about any other group in the world. And if you wanted to say, hey, Charlie's supporting this group, but he has his occasional criticisms, you wouldn't say, therefore, any other group must have killed him. You do that with one group and you sound like freaking lunatics, but you share this among your fellow lunatics and you don't realize how insane and brainwashed you sound to anyone who's not in your little Candace Owens club. So go somewhere else with this idiotic nonsense, man. You suck. You need to learn to have gosh, I don't even know what advice to give you if you're this brainwashed and stupid.
The thing is, if you want to talk about who actually did it, maybe you should look into what kind of a family that kid actually grew up in. It was a Mormon family.
Got to be Mormons. Got to be Mormons. It's a Mormon plot because Charlie was against polygamy, and so the Mormons got enraged. Freaking idiots, man. Intel agencies or gay furries in Utah aren't known for sitting around eating hummus. Yeah, but the hummus eaters were just an example of the people who went after Jesus. So who is he applying it to?
Wait, how do you know
sounds like he's implying Israel. That's what it sounded like. But it's possible. It's possible. The only non-completely deranged and mental meaning, the only thing Tucker could have possibly meant that isn't completely insane, because it's insane if he's blaming the Trump administration. It's insane if he's blaming all that is insane. If he's saying leftists were enraged and one of them decided to take him out, that's the only thing that is even close to fitting with any of the evidence.
MT, how do you know that furries don't eat hummus?
Yeah. Prove that. Show us every furry on the planet and show us that not one of them has ever eaten hummus. Good luck with that. Welcome back, AP.
How come you know so much about that?
Yeah. Why are you an expert on what every furry ever has done? How are you the world's leading authority on furries? Welcome back, AP. Last week while we were gone, Dawood tried to educate us on how to commit a crime and a very informative segment about furries. Strange, glad you're back. I did educate people on crimes and so on, and then I wasn't familiar with some of the furry stuff, but a bunch of people in the chat were, and it was getting kind of disturbing how much everyone knew about furries.
The thing is, look, I do not shy away from looking up everything that I do not know. So I like informing myself on the most wicked and weird stuff out there. That said, maybe there's something out there that has so far prevented me from going down that path and finding out more about that. And I don't want this to change. So, yeah.
One second.
Are you happy with what you found out?
What?
Are you happy with what you found out about furries?
I was just disturbed by. I was like, "What's this mean?" And like everyone in the chat knows exactly what this furry lingo means and stuff. I'm like, "Hey, what? Okay, what is going on here?"
That is weird.
One second.
Bunch of furries in the chat. Bunch of furries in the chat. Where did they come from? La-dee-da-da-da.
So
You know
here we
what's
have,
funny?
hang on, we have Hope Tucker works on his laugh and stops blaming Jews. I agree. What?
You think his laughter is weird? What's funny is this trip was very interesting because I've had lots of people in strangely at airports and in England and also in Poland even recognize me and be like, "Hey, what's up, man?" But you know what's funny about all this? Quite a few people that I encountered in random places just randomly started talking to me about the old suit.
That's good. Soon, you see that? People and super powerful people try to silence the story of the Al Zut, and we won't let them. You're not silencing it. Not silencing us. Look at this. LARPing for Cash says, "Who created Antifa? Apologetics Roadshow." Can you pull it up? I just did through AI. Antifa is a decentralized, leaderless, and often militant anti-fascist movement with no single founder or central authority. Its roots trace back to various groups and periods over the last century, evolving to counter fascism and white supremacy. The movement today is a loose network of individuals and autonomous groups rather than a formal organization. Key precursors and foundational influences include early 20th century European resistance. Anti-fascist movements first emerged in the 1920s and 1930s in Germany and Italy to resist the rise of fascists like Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler. The name Antifa is a shortened version of the German group Antifaschistische Aktion, which was active in Germany during this time. The Battle of Cable Street. A large group of anti-fascist activists and local residents famously blocked a march by the British Union of Fascists in London, forcing them to retreat. This event is often cited as a significant historical example of anti-fascist resistance. Anti-fascist action in the 1980s. The modern American Antifa movement is heavily influenced by the Anti-Racist Action Network, which formed in the 1980s to confront and disrupt neo-Nazi skinheads in the punk rock scene. And then the fall of the Berlin Wall, 1989, anti-fascist activity gained new life in Germany in the 1980s and after 1989, specifically to counter the rise of neo-Nazis. The modern movement is best described as an ideology or collection of groups with no central command rather than a single entity with a single founder. So, LARPing for Cash, you just requested that. I did it. What in the blue hell was your point?
See? You just proved that it was the Jews.
Yeah, I was assuming that LARPing for Cash wanted to go in that direction. I just wanted to actually go through the evidence that pulled up. He said, pull it up. So I pulled it up. I went through it. And so what is your point?
If there is nobody to be found, then it's probably the Jews.
People keep bringing up, Steven Crowder said he's been going after Destiny, Candace, and Tucker. That is interesting that Steven's been sort of calling them all out for some of their insane stuff. Might have to start checking out some of those clips. All right, LARPing for Cash. I mean, you brought up this thing. I did exactly what you wanted, and now I'm asking you, what was the point of looking that up? Was there a point, or did you just show up to a live stream about Charlie Kirk's memorial and the speeches that were given, and I want to talk about Antifa. I want to talk about Antifa. Why? Why did you bring that up? You just asked me to do something, and I went with it. Why aren't you telling us what the heck the point was?
So there's two layers to Antifa. There's the current Antifa movement, which is the current Antifa movement has no single founder. It only has different chapters and founders and all that, or funders. And then there is the original Antifaschistische Aktion in Germany, which was founded by the German Communist Party, which was led by a well-known German communist guy. That's it.
I'm just, it's like people come and they like post random stuff, and then you ask them what the heck they're talking about, and they can't even explain what the heck they're talking about.
It was the Jews.
Anyway, remember everything he said while laughing and cackling at the thought of people hating Sharia law. Jesus also mentioned hypocrites too. Yeah, that is, for anyone who didn't see that, Tucker was mocking people who are concerned about Sharia law and cackling hysterically at people who are so dumb that they're concerned about Sharia law. It really seems like Israel did it, not a Jew hater. But is this the same kid? Not a Jew hater.
Excuse me. Are you retarded or something?
That's got to be the same kid, right? Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same idiot. I was like, please don't tell me there were two people this stupid sending super chats.
There are several people in American politics going around influencing people on a large scale. There are lots of people online who do the whole anti-Israel and anti-Jewish train. And then there is one figure who is actually, everyone can say this nowadays, and everyone can see that this figure, this guy, founded the most impactful, most amazing, most wide-reaching political youth organization in America. That is Turning Point USA. That guy is Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, from the beginning until now, has had nothing but praise for Netanyahu and for Israel. The funny thing is, you don't have to love Netanyahu, right? You can say, I really don't like Netanyahu, but I love Israel. It's completely fine. A lot of very pro-Israel Zionists will also say that. They will say, I love Israel, but I don't really like Netanyahu. I wish he was replaced by somebody else. No, Charlie actually loved Netanyahu as well. He described him as a real leader. He just exchanged letters with him. He was just invited over to Israel. The implications are that he was apparently planning on doing something in that direction. We will probably know more about that soon. His movement was the one that was attracting Jews, religious Jews, in America to participate. I saw it. Many other people saw it as well. His movement was one that was actively talking about the goodness of Jews and of Judaism. In fact, Charlie Kirk, and many Christians might not like this because it might be kind of contrary to some fundamental Christian ideas. Charlie Kirk was observing the Sabbath just because he thought it is a beautiful, wonderful thing that could help people. He was writing a book about the Sabbath and about the beauty of Judaism and the Sabbath. I think the book is currently in. I think he finished it and it was supposed to be published soon or something like that. So that's what he was doing. He's
it was a book exposing Israel.
The one sole person who is actually praising Israel, praising Judaism, praising Jews, praising Jewish practices, and telling Christians about it, and also telling Christians to unite and have peace with Jews and be together, Christians and Jews. This guy, you think, was turning against Israel, therefore they took him. I don't know how to address you without insulting you, but you
can feel free to insult him. This kid named AJ is a complete moron, brainwashed moron. Look,
and Israel intelligence has been behind many assassinations, namely JFK, Abe Lincoln, etc.
Okay, you're retarded.
Yeah, you are a grade A idiot. A kid named AJ. Israel's behind the JFK assassination. What's the evidence for that? The evidence for that is Candace Owens said JFK said there needs to be a review of their nuclear program. Therefore, Israel killed him. No evidence of Israel killing him. Just here's a hypothetical motive. Really? This guy who almost went to nuclear war with the Soviet Union? No one else might have wanted to kill him? No one? Just them. It's the only possibility. JFK was a Zionist.
He went to a Zionist organization to speak. He loved Zionists.
But here's a possible motive, and that's, guys. Have you noticed? It's the same thing in every situation. You're doing it again. Here's a possible, based on sheer speculation, motive. And by motive, I mean, here's something Israel may not have liked about something. Therefore, they killed him.
David, I think we're being
You don't do that with anyone else. No, trials aren't run like that. Guess what? If you wanted to say, if you could,
David,
hang on. A kid named AJ. Pick any person in the world, and using your method, I could blame them for JFK's assassination.
Dude, we're being trolled. Abraham Lincoln.
Here's something that someone did not like about, therefore they killed it.
You sound like a freaking idiot, dude. Shut up. Go away and shut up.
I think
you sound
he's
so
stupid,
dude.
He's
not. He's a kid. He's a Candace fan.
He said Israel killed Abraham Lincoln. How can Israel kill Abraham Lincoln?
He means the Jews, man. They do say that. They do say the Jews are behind that. This isn't a troll.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Gage.
Did you guys see Destiny says memorial equals Nazi rally? No, but sounds exactly like something he would say.
Destiny needs to shut up.
He said hummus eaters and he likes Islam. So, yep. Is he blaming the Muslims? Wait. Tucker ended his speech with, "This is the way." Clearly he was asking the Mandalorians to save us from the remnants of the Empire. No, he's asking for the Mandalorians to save us from the Jews. The CIA killed Jesus. Duh. That's true. My mother is worrying because my sister believes Charlie Kirk was a racist. She doesn't think he should have died, but the internet seems to radicalize. Yeah, and I keep doing the same exact thing over and over again where people say he said something and I look it up and he did not say it. The only time they care about Jew-on-Jew violence. Yep, that's the only time. All our sins killed Jesus. My sins did that. You see, your sins are eating hummus. Is that AP Benedict Arnold? Where is IP Judas? It's true. Jesus' response to Peter is the answer, Matthew 16:23. Speaking of the Jews, Stephen Miller's speech slapped so hard, I wanted to go build a civilization right then and there. No, was Stephen Miller one of the speakers? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he was. The thing is, I think he spoke just when I was looking around and trying to find stuff. I think that I might have actually missed part
You
of
keep
that
missing
speech.
everyone. It's weird because what's the alternative? Jesus doesn't die and we all go to hell? Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, that's the way it should be, according to Tucker. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. This charge I have received from my Father.
Beast.
John 3:16 tells who killed Jesus. Each and every one of us killed Jesus. Jesus paid for our sins that we couldn't pay.
It is totally based.
These deranged and strange people who blame all Jews for everything and Jesus' death often forget Jesus' disciples were Jews as well. How weird. Yep.
Jesus
And
was
Jesus.
a Jew.
Acts 4:27, he died by everyone. He died for everyone.
Everyone is a Jew.
Mosh says, wow, AP, most Jews don't even know that. Mad respect. Don't know what.
Don't know what.
Don't know. He posted it earlier when you were talking, but you say so many weird random things. I have a coworker who uses Jordan Peterson's argument for Jesus never claimed to be God with his I am statements. Do you guys know it and debunk it? I have a coworker who uses Jordan Peterson's argument for Jesus never claiming to be God with his I am statements. Do you guys know it and debunk? I don't know what you're talking about. Jordan Peterson calls Jesus God. You see, we are all Jews. This is the proof.
Yes.
Yep. AP, you're so right. Marco Rubio's speech was amazing, preaching the gospel. The greatest honor would be Christ lifted higher than yourself and the gospel preached at your own funeral. This is the way.
It was amazing.
That is a good way to go, guys. God used some people to do something that was the most awesome, loving thing he could do. If God wanted to stop it, he would have. He used men who did not want to lose their powers for his purposes.
Some people did something.
My dog scares Muhammad. He also listens to music. Love to see AP back. Funny, Crowder was about to show a Muhammad pic he drew on Pierce. Really? That's funny. Norwegian MSN journalist actually called Kirk's movement a Christian Taliban. Total meltdown. Wow, Norway, man. What happened to you guys? You used to be Vikings. Acts 4:27. Indeed, Herod and Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate met together with the Gentiles and the people of Israel in this city to conspire against your holy servant Jesus, whom you anointed.
Powerful.
Didn't Jesus die for our sins? So why take revenge on who did it? Also, was hummus a popular dish in Judea back then? I'm just asking questions, you guys. No, Tucker says it, but we don't know. We have no references to hummus. This proves that it's a conspiracy. Is David AP's sidekick or is AP David's sidekick?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but my sidekick is Mike Winger. So.
Isaiah 53:10 and Revelation 13:8, we have a confession. It was God the Father that killed Jesus, premeditated before the world was formed. Yeah, maybe Tucker was talking about God. Can you watch Tony Lapidus' impression of Tucker? We've covered that before. He's pretty funny. Here's your monthly Mossad money. Sorry, the budget is spread thin this month. I mean, I like your content. Oh. It is funny that you'll have these groypers and stuff. Oh, you see, they admit it. Good to see you, AP. Good picture with He Who Shall Not Be Named. That was a terrible picture, and it should be burned. I feel like the Al-Zut will literally destroy Islam. Well, they had their way with Muhammad, but it just made him more powerful. Candace hasn't been invited to TPUSA events in 2 years. Everyone needs to see how far gone is. I don't know about you, but I believe people close to Charlie than her. Yeah, that's the thing. She's like, and this is the meeting that took place a couple of months ago, and blah, blah, blah. And my sources say, and then everyone who was actually there posts that's not what happened at all. And her fans will still believe her. And not and not all of Charlie's buddies who were actually there.
Including the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk show, one of Andrew, one of Charlie's close friends who has worked with him forever, says, "Hey, I need to clarify this. I have now asked multiple people who were there, and nobody can report such a thing. So this seems completely made up." And then they're coming at him. They're like,
"Oh, it seems you got the call from Israel. They're trying to cover up."
Mm-hmm. You can't even disprove things anymore because
you can't. That's the thing. If Candace Owens says, "Here's what happened at the secret meeting where they pressured Charlie Kirk and told him if you don't do what we say, we'll kill you," and she just says it based on nothing. She says her sources, which means anyone could email her something, or she could just make something up. And then everyone has to respond. But guess what? If you respond, you're just part of the cover-up, right? You're just part of the cover-up. And
I'll tell you,
it's disgusting. It's freaking disgusting that after someone dies, this is what you do to everyone who's actually still close to him, unlike you.
It's going to get even more disgusting. They are already starting it.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Carrot already says, for example, that Erica Kirk is probably afraid for her life.
Yep.
That's why she doesn't speak out.
Mm-hmm.
But if and when she comes out and actually goes on a podcast and starts debunking and rebuking all these conspiracy theories,
they're going to say they got to her and they're threatening her and they're saying, you're next if you do not do what we say. And they'll all believe this because they're idiots.
They're going to be even more disgusting. They're going to do it to her. In just a few days, they'll probably start they probably start doing it to her as well, to Erica Kirk, to the woman whose husband was just brutally murdered on camera as she was watching. They will probably start doing it to her, just because these people are, I don't know.
It's pretty bad. The QAnon crowd were rehomed on her channel regarding, CAnon equals QAnon, but Candace, that actually makes sense. I'm going to start using that CAnon, Candace. Please. Regarding Tate, he knows where the booties are buried, a.k.a. her husband is gay. That would not surprise me at all. What if he gets saved in prison? I hope he does, and so would Charlie, and so does Erica. Hi, D Wood and AP. Glad to see you met. Timu D Wood, AP. Love you. I still don't know what Timu means.
It's
Does that mean a cooler version or a lamer version?
No, it's a cheap version.
Okay, good. That's good. You can say that, even though he's basically the opposite of me in every way. I'm starting hummus eaters to rival lotus eaters. Yeah, you got podcast of the lotus eaters. There should be podcast of the hummus eaters. I've been saying forever, AP, we should get like 3 or 4 of our Jewish friends.
We should.
Like Rebecca and a couple others, and just have a weekly show or a monthly show called Jews React. And we just, with a couple of Jewish friends, we sit there and we watch some of the most deranged clips about them, and they can react. And people will see how just normal, everyday Jews react to the insane nonsense that's spread about them. I think that would be an awesome show. And I mean, think, if you get a little panel of Jews together and we pull up like 10 clips and go through the clips and get their reaction, you could break that up into 10 different videos, man. Jews react to what Candace said here. Jews react to what Tucker says here. Jews react to.
And they could all be doing that while eating hummus.
While eating hummus. That's, the hummus eaters. Podcast of the hummus eaters.
Imagine Jews sitting there and eating hummus and then talking about these things. Sorry.
AP, other than David Winger's brother, did you meet anyone else at the memorial? Yeah, he already said. Well, he already knew Valentina. He'd already met her. But anyone else? Meet anyone else interesting?
Yeah, Frank Turek, which was very, very interesting.
Did he know you?
Yeah, that was very. That was actually very cool. I don't know how much I want to talk about that, honestly, but it was a very good encounter, and I want to probably talk about that more in the future. But I connected with Frank Turek a little bit.
We could get Frank on with us. I know Frank.
Yeah. But so he has been mentoring Charlie Kirk for a while. I don't know since when, but so apparently Charlie told Frank Turek about me and IP. And I saw Frank there, and I wasn't expecting that. I was very surprised by it. I only know him a little bit, so as I saw him, he actually looked at me and was like, "Hey, apostate prophet." I was like, "Yeah." And I went over to him, and he gave me the fist, and then he said, "Come here for a second." And I went closer, and then he pointed at IP and said, "You come here too." And then he said, "Charlie told me about both of you guys." He said he really, it was very close to his heart. He wanted to do something about Islam, and he specifically mentioned you two. So we have to do this, he said. And
we are.
Yeah, and then we exchanged information a little bit, texted a little bit with him. It was very, very nice. It was very heartwarming, and I didn't know much about Frank Turek before this, but especially since the whole thing happened, and since that whole stuff happened, I have I don't know, respect for him and want to interact with him and connect with him a little bit. But we are working on something. So David is also involved, and some other people are also involved. We are working on a project actually with Turning Point USA in terms of Islam and faith.
Hey, look,
it's going to be a beast.
Mother Hulda said, Frank would tell you both to chill on your rhetoric about Tucker. And we would say, you ain't the boss of us. We'll say whatever we want about that delusional nut job who's trying to lead people to hate and despise Jews. Huh? Was that? Should I chill on that rhetoric?
Yeah.
Should I chill on he's warming up to Islam and starting to tell people that laugh in the faces of people who are concerned about Sharia? Should I point out that he mocked the little girls who are being married off at 9 years old by their families, and they can't even go to school after 6th grade anymore? And he mocked them by saying, "Oh, they can't get their PhD in gender studies. Oh, we're supposed to cry over them." Should I point that out? Because I think that's evil. I think that's evil, saying that little girls who are being married off and are no longer allowed to go to school, that should be mocked as, oh, they don't get their PhD in gender studies. I think that's disgusting. So would Frank Turek tell me to chill? Side note, I've known Frank for years. He's never told me to chill about anything. Jesus said no one takes his life, but he lays it down willingly. The whole discussion on who killed Jesus is moot. Well, it's just the main thing the main reason it's stupid is because they'll be, oh, we got to destroy the Jews, get rid of the Jews, Jews control everything. And you say, quit obsessing over Jews. And they go, oh, so you're siding with people who killed Jesus. And you sound like freaking idiots, guys. Epictetus was the Mike Winger of Stoicism. No, Marcus Aurelius was. Not going to lie, after witnessing the vileness emerging following Charlie's death, part of me doesn't mind seeing Islam have these people. I need to repent. It's kind of messed up.
I know that feeling.
I know that feeling too. It's like, oh, you want it. You want it. You guys are begging for it. You're asking for it. What do you think of Nick Fuentes attacking Candace Owens for her baseless Israel conspiracies to do with Kirk's death? Yeah, I pointed that out. It's like when Nick Fuentes is the voice of reason about Israel in the room, you are so far off the deep end. when people are sitting here, wow, Nick Fuentes is making a great defense of Israel right now. Oh, you got problems, girl. You got
I saw
problems.
Tim Pool post just a video, just a clip of Nick Fuentes, and just with the caption "Nick Fuentes, voice of reason."
That is the weirdest thing ever. Hey, AP, by the way, I understand you're tired, so feel free to cut out and go to sleep anytime you want. There's
Inshallah.
still a significant number of super chats and a couple of videos.
I'm kind of happy to be back, man. 'Cause I think the last time I went live on my own channel was like 2 weeks ago, 14 days ago or something.
Yeah, it's always weird, man. It's always weird. Marcus Aurelius is Marco Rubio in Latin. It's a play on words that works, and it's pretty dope if that's just coincidence. It is. If he's speaking seriously, and Charlie, because keep in mind, it's entirely believable, right? Like Charlie Kirk is like, hey, Marcus Aurelius, and he's like, what? Who's that? Where's that person? The story's believable as is, but yeah, it could be a joke, and it could be a play on words or something like that. But yeah, if the story is how Marco reported it, that is kind of a funny coincidence. Y'all should watch the short parody video Ortho Thugs made about Tucker Carlson. Really great impression of his laugh. Ortho Thugs. Check that out. How come no one talks about the dancing Palestinians after the Twin Towers fell? Because then you'd be Islamophobic.
I don't think Palestinians are good dancers, so
Yeah, they suck at dancing. Destiny called this a Nazi rally. What a clown. Yeah. What happened, man? Sometimes
there was a time that I had more respect for Destiny, but then I think when his girlfriend wife left him, I think he went down a very bad path.
Us Israelis know very well they were there to work off radar and were terrified they'll be captured and get a black stamp forever. The rest is BS.
Powerful.
And that's Mosh, so he definitely knows. Korean Scottish guy with bacon shoulders is Aced Bay. Oh, Aced Bay, base. I was at a Jewish wedding in Israel. The dancing, singing was great. Even had some Israeli Muslims there. Yeah, people tend to get along pretty well. They still have they have issues and problems and stuff, but for having a place that enrages so many people and a huge population of Muslims and Jews and Christians all in the same place, they make it work far, far better than you would expect. AP, Trump went last so he could leave early. He went last so he could leave early. Love you both. AP, it was great to meet in London. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed your visit to Poland. That's from Monica.
Oh, I remember you. You gave me a shirt, didn't you? It was good to meet you.
Why didn't you have a shirt, dude? You gotta take handouts. Don't worry, y'all. You're like, I don't even have a shirt. I didn't bring a shirt. Someone's like, okay, I got one. There are some mega Haredi guys who will spit on you, but they will also spit on secular Jews. It's not personal. They hate us too. Yeah, I asked about that when I was over there. I asked a Messianic Jew about that, and he said, yeah, there's one small group. They're a tiny fraction of a tiny fraction, and most normal Israelis do not like these guys because they think they're a bit silly. Mrs. Kirk married to Charlie and went to his church.
Yeah. Some people say that she's Catholic. She was baptized.
No, she was raised Catholic, whatever.
But she is no longer. I don't think she was going to a Protestant church with him. Pretty sure.
And the saddest part about Charlie Kirk's death is that we had to put all Zoot jokes on hold for 2 weeks. Yeah, it was not an appropriate time for jokes. Hey guys, I seek for no one. Great to see you live and not catch up. Praying for you guys and the families of your good ladies. And that's from Michelle. That's good hearing from Michelle. We got more super chats. AP again.
Michelle,
you can cut out what you can.
Doing well.
I mentioned you could cut out anytime you want, but you said you're glad to be back here. I want to check out another.
I was just joking. I'm gonna leave. Wait, what are you gonna check?
Either the Pasobek or Vance. Pasobek or Vance. What would you recommend? I got two left, man. I got Vance and Pasobek.
Posobiec was very, very personal, fiery, and
It was also short, wasn't it? Wasn't it short?
a little bit confrontational and like a. And JD Vance was a moving and kind of religious, but also a very good one, very positive one. Pick either one of those.
All right, I'm going to go with the shorter one.
Beast.
Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk.
Got a rosary.
Charlie Kirk was my friend. Charlie was my brother. And Charlie was my commanding officer. And we will never, ever let the left, the media, or the Democrats forget the name of Charlie Kirk.
Did you see a comment? Because someone said you need to play. This is the time for the shofar, man. Did you see that, or you just randomly? It's the most beautiful sound in the world. It's like a chorus of little birdies.
Yes.
The Bible, we'll get there, hold on, we'll get there. The Bible tells us that on his last day, Moses climbed to the top of the mountain and he looked across the River Jordan and he saw the promised land. He led the people there, but he did not cross himself, for he was taken and he died on that mountain and he was brought to God's kingdom. On his last day, Charlie Kirk was on the top of a mountain. And Charlie Kirk led us there. And Charlie Kirk has brought us to the promised land. Charlie's death was not just a murder. The true word for what Charlie did is sacrifice. You see, the difference between murder and sacrifice is that sacrifice is a gift. Sacrifice is that last full measure of devotion for God, for country, and for his people, and for his family. Charlie Kirk died for all of you. And Charlie Kirk's gift of his sacrifice means that Charlie Kirk will live forever, not just for all of us, not just for his family and Erica and for his children, but for all future generations of Americans. And the question of our time: will Western civilization endure? Or will it fracture in two, like so many predict? Well, I say to you that a century from now, when they write of the 2 or 3 pivotal moments that led to the saving of Western civilization, they will write that the sacrifice of Charles James Kirk was the turning point.
His middle name is James?
Yes.
So he's James Kirk?
Mm-hmm.
That's Captain Kirk's name. His name is James T. Kirk. It's interesting.
And the ugliness that was been revealed by Charlie's murder will be and is already being overcome by the beauty of the outpouring of love and prayer around the world, seas of 1,000 candles that have been lit from coast to coast. For Charlie's sacrifice for all of us, we will overcome their evil.
Good stuff.
And Charlie's sacrifice has given us all, and I see it in your eyes, I see it in the eyes of every man, woman, and child who has come to me since this unspeakable evil happened. We have it now. Charlie gave it to us. He gave us that last bit of courage, that last bit of fight, that last bit of grit and resolve to say no more. We are done. We are done with all of it, and we will now stand and fight, because if you took Charlie Kirk off that line, then every single one of us will rise up and we will replace that line, and we will be there and we will remind them what they did for Charlie, what they did to Charlie, and we will never, ever let them forget the name Charlie Kirk. Our civilization will endure. The United States of America will endure. For Charlie, we will continue the mission. For Charlie, we will end the evil disease that split us and took Charlie from us. And for Charlie, Turning Point USA will last forever. And we will come to find that in the final moment, that Western civilization was saved through Charlie's sacrifice in the only way possible, by returning the people to Almighty God. For greater love hath no man than this, than he who laid down his life for his friends. Are you ready to continue the mission? Are you ready to fight back? And are you ready to put on the full armor of God and face the evil in high places and the spiritual warfare before us? Then put on the full armor of God. Do it now. Now is the time. This is the place. This is the turning point for Charlie. God bless to all of you. God bless to everyone, to Charlie's family, to all the families. And Charlie, till we meet again, brother.
He dials it up to 10 for the entire speech, and then like gets super nice in the last 6 seconds. That is AP style. I see why AP picked that. It's sort of a German approach, right? You grew up in Germany.
Yeah. It was an okay speech, you know. It was not too bad. What do you think?
I like Erica's better.
Everybody likes Erica's better. Everybody says Erica's speech was the best.
It is awesome that you have you've got all these speakers who spent their lives speaking, who've been trained to speak, and they're like different ways. Like what's crazy is Trump is actually a good speaker, like off the cuff style. He can just go for being as old as he is. He is still like quick, and he's funny and stuff like that. So anyway, point is, and Frank Turek, like awesome speaker, tons of great speakers and stuff. And Erica, that most people never heard speak before. Just crushes it.
She's powerful.
Powerful.
I hope she becomes queen of America one day.
Well, she's a CEO of Turning Point, and Turning Point's going to take over America. So,
yeah. Well, the thing is, so I would say that the trajectory for the future would be for to find somebody to finally take a hold of this. I mean, obviously, we're not supposed to have democracy forever. It's just a temporary thing. So, if we can find a good candidate, we could put them in a position of leading this country on a permanent basis. And I would say that she might be a good candidate for that. You know, she's young and she's not old like Donald Trump or J.D. Vance, so she might be a good candidate for President Queen.
Drew says Tim Dillon, was that the gay guy who was going there? Someone was telling us about a comedian who was going to Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah,
but he was like gay or something. Mm-hmm. We thought that was interesting. Drew said Tim Dillon got kicked off the Riyadh comedy show. He said he'll take it to Tehran, and he's Shia now. Better do a freebie for Jews than be an Eric Cartman Instagram model in the Burj Khalifa.
That's funny. All right, man, I'm going to leave.
Go ahead, cut out, man, cut out. Go to sleep.
It was very good to see you again, everybody. Not you, David. I'm talking to the crowd.
I know. You've been out of touch with all the people.
Yeah, all the people. I'll be back soon. I'll see y'all. It's time to rise up. Okay.
That's funny. Hebrews 9:27-28. Glory be to God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yep, it's appointed to men once to die. Following that logic, Charlie Kirk just started calling out Islam. Maybe the Muslims did it. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, I don't think Muslims had anything to do with it, but they were really celebrating. And he just started really going after Islam and wanted to put together a lot against Islam. So, but we don't do that. We only do that with one group. I was insinuating that Tucker is a secret furry and his demon scratches were from a fun night. Wouldn't be surprising. And he's covering for his fellow furries. That would be funny. That it's more believable than a lot of the theories I see. Please watch Charlie Kirk episode hosted by Tucker. You mean on Charlie's channel that's hosted by Tucker? Well, I haven't heard of that. Is that new or is that old? What do you think about Joel Webben? I know Likey, never heard of him, so I don't think about him at all. I think Mike Winger placed the hit on Kirk. It's not insane, man. It's crazy to say. Oh, it's this kid again. It's not insane, man. It's crazy to say Israel's government is involved in assassinations 9/11, but Epstein was proven Mossad had a kid sex island. Dude, your examples of assassinations were JFK and Abraham Lincoln. Israel didn't exist when Abraham Lincoln got assassinated. And there's no evidence anywhere that Israel had anything to do with JFK's assassination. All you do with JFK's assassination is say, he said something that annoyed Jews, therefore Israel did it. Yes, you sound like an idiot. Dude, you need to step. I don't even. Why am I even talking to you? You're not going to listen, right? The only person in the world you listen to is Candace Owens. And anyone who says anything that disagrees with Candace Owens, the least reliable source of information on the planet, you would think is part of a conspiracy. So just go ahead and say it, man. We're getting paid by the Jews to go after Candace Owens. Dude. Get a functioning brain cell. Remember, David, chat holds a lot of forbidden knowledge. Ask on your own risk. Yeah, I keep asking, guys. I asked about the furries. Everyone seems to know all kinds of stuff. I think it was a dog whistle, but Tucker is sneaky. That's what I mean. He did that exactly the way he should have done it if he wants to do what I say he's doing. These zoots. Would Tucker like his family to be under Sharia? Apparently he thinks it's great. Now he brags about Sharia. Look at all these great places in the Middle East, and people are worried about Sharia. These are way better than places in the United States. He's actually said that. But Antifa is the gematria of Talmud, you see. Yeah, well, you weren't supposed to let that out of the bag, Ash. Jewish guy swipes right on Candace's Tinder. Also, Candace, you see, a Jew just tried to take me out. Welcome back, AP and Mike. I mean, David. Not funny, that Mike Winger jokes. Why are Tucker Carlson and co. trying to cover up for Trantifa furries? Would they be involved in an underground transformer furry cult Al-Zut Club? Just asking questions. Yeah, I mean, if you got some guy who's into furries and then everyone tries to deflect attention away from him, could we say that that they're actually furries who are trying to deflect attention away from their group? I was watching the memorial live while I was at work yesterday, and it got me emotional, especially when Frank Turek gave his speech from Australia. Yeah, we're not getting to it today. I do want to, before I close out, I do want to go go through J.D. Vance's speech, and then, yeah, it'll be a different day for Frank Turek, and then might go through the Trump speech at some point, but we'll see. I have a coworker who keeps trying to tell me it was the Jews. I'm honestly so tired of it. The theories are so out there, and he just can't seem to see it. It has really been getting to me lately. Yep, people are being programmed by this stuff, and they don't realize it. Candace Owens said it.org. Is that a cool site? Evidence, crack pipe, carbon monoxide inhalation. That's all the evidence you ever need. I just ate hummus. He was talking about me. Yes. The hummus eaters. Who should win a quarter-mile drag race? Solomon on his magic carpet or Muhammad on his flying donkey? Well, Muhammad will have 30 men with him on his flying donkey, so... Turning Point USA respects Tucker. He spoke at the memorial, hosted Charlie's podcast, and headline events. Charlie was pro-Israel, and he didn't condone all their actions. He agreed with Smith and Tucker on points. Yeah, I know that. What's that got to do with anything we're saying? I pointed out, were you not here earlier? I pointed out why Tucker is an issue. He's trying to bring all the conservatives and Christians with him, as opposed to Candace, who will just blurt out every insane thing and lose a lot of people. Tucker wants to remain embedded in the movement and steer it where he wants to go. And you have all these people, but he's saying all these nice things. He's saying all these, he's not saying all the insane things that Candace said, so he's so much better. Not if his goal is the same, but he's just way smarter about how he goes about it. AP is a Disney princess and Winger is his sidekick. That's a good way to describe them. Here in Brazil, these conspiratory ideas against Jews are very popular among prominent Roman Catholic leaders and segments and are spreading like a plague. I have lost 2 old friends to this madness. Yeah, and we respond to it like, oh, why are you so obsessed with Israel? It wasn't 2 years. Candace was at many events in 2024. I'm not a fan of her, but she was still friends with Charlie. They've already released some of the... there's already some leaked text messages. He was obviously very concerned about her and did not want to associate with her. Why in the blue hell are you freaking defending Candace Owens here? She's a freaking nut. Like completely deranged, as in if she was one step further along, she would be in a freaking mental hospital. Why are you here defending this? The Jews killed the dinosaurs with space lasers, you see? Yeah, they did. Definitely. Mother Hulda apparently would agree with you. Andrew Gold interviewed a journalist who spoke about the problems with Wikipedia. This is probably big source of the lies about... Okay. There are some serious problems with Wikipedia. Hey, Big Diddy, what did you eat for breakfast today? 2 sausage sandwiches. Hey, David and AP, would you guys want to have a golf match versus the Dawa guys? No. That would be the lamest excuse for a sport against Dawa guys. Israelis don't eat hummus much anymore. Come on. Me and AP were there. Everything we ordered everywhere had hummus with it. Israelis don't eat hummus much anymore. It's boring eating the same thing multiple times per day, and they've been eating Hamas for breakfast for 2 years. Okay, I get it now. Nice plan, but have you considered what flavor of hummus? How about what kind of chips? Someone has to ask the big questions. Yeah, you can get different flavors and eat them with different things. You can eat them with pita bread. You can eat them with pretzel chips, pita chips, all kinds of things. There were actual reports of Muslims dancing on 9/11 in Jersey. You can still find the articles. Yeah, and no one says, you see, this is the proof that a Muslim nation planned this. I wish Destiny used his name and not mine. He's a joke. Yeah, when I only first heard of Destiny when I went to DebateCon, and Destiny was also debating, but I assumed it was a girl. I assumed someone called Destiny would be a girl. But turns out I was wrong. Being a Dayuth really messed up Destiny's head. I'm talking about Destiny now. Al-Zut's men tumbled, laughed, and spun. Muhammad joined. They had such fun. Moonlit chaos, jokes and cheer. A night of madness, loud and clear. Can never have too many poems about Muhammad and the men of Al-Zut. Jack started choking up at the end. Heartbreaking. Lose your friend, man. Lose your friend like that. Thank you, AP and David, for standing with Israel and the Jewish people. May God bless you with long lives. I'm Yisrael. I always say chai because it looks like chai tea. And then AP always corrects me, but he's not here. I used to be involved with furries back when it was just people who wanted to dress up as animals and zoot each other. But around 2010, it got super fetishy, weird BDSM and other stuff became common. So you were okay when it was just a bunch of people in costumes zooting each other? We desperately need an episode of any podcast with Candace Owens, Mohammed Hijab, and Nick Fuentes. Imagine the hilarity. These are a good time for just watching what people say and going through it. Dr. Yoo-Hoon Kim, world's highest IQ record holder, says he's going to plant churches at every corner of Earth, declaring the name of Jesus in honor of Charlie Kirk. Praise God. Yeah, we'll see. It was the Jew that planted the dinosaurs, you see. That's true. D. Wood, your Wikipedia page, actually awesome. I've read it. It's funny, I've never read it. It's been there for years. I've never read it. We need, Mother Hulda again, we need to be wise with our words and our claims. That's why accuracy and criticism matters. Are you serious? And you're sitting here defending the least accurate people on the planet from criticism. Candace Owens, everything she says is completely freaking insane. Oh, I need to be careful about saying that, though. She's a complete freaking lunatic with a following. That's dangerous. All right, guys, watch one more talk. This will be the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. You know, I can't help but think that they tried to silence my friend Charlie Kirk. They tried to silence our dear friend Charlie Kirk. And tonight, we speak with Charlie and for Charlie louder than ever.
Jesus Style here said, hey, David, thanks for all you have done. You are my brother in Christ. I'm going to glow up on TikTok and be big one day. Christ is defeating all these Islamic Dawa demons, and I will do it too soon. Yeah, just wanted to put that up there because TikTok's very important, guys. All the other platforms. We've got YouTube pretty much covered, but the Dawa guys are looking to brainwash a younger generation. So they're focusing on platforms like TikTok, which I don't even know how to make a TikTok video and so on. So anyway, the point is other people need to do it because it's important.
The evil murderer who took Charlie from us, expected us to have a funeral today, and instead, my friends, we have had a revival in celebration of Charlie Kirk and of his Lord Jesus Christ. We gather here in this stadium in the hot Arizona sun, shielded in a great shining city our fathers raised out of the desert. And from this desert, Charlie Kirk built a movement. He transformed the face of conservatism in our own time, and in doing so, he changed the course of American history. To rising generations across this country, Charlie exemplified kindness, courage, and a commitment to open debate. And he was a great debater, and we loved him for it. But Charlie loved debate not because he excelled at it, but because it was the vehicle for bringing the light of truth to dark places.
I just have to say, and I've mentioned it already, that is the weirdest thing about all of this. To me, it's like, if it's a person who says all sorts of messed up things from his basement and there's no way to respond to it, he's just like saying these horrible, evil things and so on, and there's no way to refute him, and someone decides, I just have to take this guy out. That's already messed up. But when it's a guy that if you disagreed with anything he said, he just literally over and over and over again sets up a chair, 2 microphones, there's your microphone. You disagree with me on anything. I mean, think about how that's pretty gutsy, because people can just bring up anything. You have to be kind of ready for anything anyone can bring up and have that kind of confidence to sit there and say, anyone who wants to bring up anything and challenge me on anything, there is a microphone. And to say, that's a guy that there's no way to deal with besides shooting him. It seriously sounds like you understand you could not win an argument against this guy, which means, why are you so confident in your position? You do not think you could win an argument. And you're so confident in your position that you're ready to kill someone, but not confident enough to actually, defend it. That sounds insane to me. That sounds insane.
And Charlie Kirk brought many truths in his life. Charlie brought the truth that young people deserved a stake in the future and that they deserved to have a voice. He brought the truth that marriage and family were the highest callings, far more important than any job or educational credential. He brought the truth that our nation would fade unless it brought order to its neighborhoods and prosperity to its people. He brought the truth that life was precious and we must fight to protect it at all stages and at all times. But most of all, Charlie brought the truth that Jesus Christ was the King of Kings and that all truth flowed from this first and most important one. But Charlie, he did so much more than tell the truth, he lived it. Charlie understood that the best evangelization was not in what you said, but in how you lived your life. And in this city, he lived his life well. He raised a wonderful family. He had a beautiful wife, 2 beloved children, and a loving and godly home. In this, he showed us the importance of family. He lived 3 decades he had on this earth with a sense of Christian virtue that would make any man, any person proud. And in this, he showed the importance of following God. He was a kind-hearted man, a hard-working person, and any parent would be proud to have him as a son. In this, he showed the virtue of industriousness. He was present and loving as any child would hope of his or her father, and in this, he showed the importance of strong Christian fatherhood. He was fearless and he was bold as any.
It's an important, it's a little side note there, but that just kind of reminded me of Nabil because he brought up that Charlie was a good example of being a father, but, you know, he had these two very young daughters and so on. So you think, well, he's, you know, someone killed him, so he's not going to be around while they're growing up. And yet, this is what reminded me of Nabil, because I thought this about Nabil. Nabil had a very young daughter when he died. And I thought, you know, there are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of videos of Nabil out there speaking, debating, all kinds of things. And so it is good that these daughters can actually get to know. Thinking about, when I was originally thinking about Nabil, it's good that his daughter will have an opportunity to get to know her dad through his books and videos. But I get the same would be true of Charlie Kirk here, that, you know, even though he died when his girls are young, they will be able to get to know a lot about their dad as they grow up. So that is good.
Follower would hope would be true of a leader. And in this, he showed all of us how to carry on after his death. You know, Charlie Kirk, he loved history. He devoured the ideas that formed the foundation of our civilization. He stood for a tradition that Socrates established 2,500 years ago: to question, to search, and to teach.
It's actually interesting because people killed Socrates too. So we've had three comparisons in these videos. So one compared him to Moses, who led people up to the promised land but didn't get to enter himself. Tucker drew the comparison of Jesus in terms of someone that people wanted to silence but weren't able to actually silence him. And now we have Socrates as well.
He was Athens and Jerusalem, the city of reason and the city of God in one person. But if he loved those places, they were not his home. America was his home, and he was willing to die for it. You know, Charlie, he loved this country with a contagious intensity. Anybody who talked to him knew it and felt it. He knew that America was a beautiful place and we had these incredible ideas, but he also knew that our country was a covenant between the generations past, present, and future. He believed this country's best days were not behind us, but ahead of us. But he knew those better days would have to be earned. They would have to be worked for. We would have to sacrifice and work and tell the truth. He knew that America wouldn't be saved just by pulling together seminars or talking about the right kind of books in front of the right kind of people. The movement which he created demanded more. It demanded courage. It demanded hard work. It demanded building, and it demanded leaders. And my friends, in Charlie Kirk, we found a great American leader. Now, our whole administration is here, but not just because we love Charlie as a friend, even though we did, but because we know we wouldn't be here without him. Charlie built an
Wow. I mean, I've heard them pointing this out, but that was J.D. Vance saying why the entire administration is there. They wouldn't be there. So they're actually saying they would not have, without the work that Charlie did, they wouldn't have won. That's interesting.
Organization that reshaped the balance of our politics. Turning Point brought millions of young people into conversation with one another, brought millions of people into advocacy. He asked of us, not just that we talk about saving our country, but that we actually go and do it, and we do it together. But even as Charlie built on a grand scale, his greatness was never only in his ambition. It was measured in the everyday moments as well, in the way that he treated ordinary people each and every single day. You know, you learn a lot about someone by how they treat others when the cameras aren't on. Charlie treated staffers as well as he treated the President of the United States. When I was just a guy polling at nothing in my Senate race back in 2021, Charlie helped me, not because I was a future vice president, but because I was a dear friend. I saw just a couple of months ago when a White House staffer struggled with the weight of his job and the responsibilities of new fatherhood. Charlie stopped what he was doing in the hallways of the West Wing and said a prayer for that staffer. Because Charlie believed that we were all children of God, he treated everyone with grace. And that is perhaps the enduring legacy of Charlie Kirk. You know, I was telling somebody backstage that I always felt a little uncomfortable talking about my faith in public as much as I loved the Lord and as much as it was an important part of my life. I have talked more about Jesus Christ in the past 2 weeks than I have my entire time in public life.
It was a good speech. I haven't heard much J.D. Vance. I'm sure I've heard him speak, but I can't remember. But it's a good speech. I see why AP mentioned this.
And that is an undeniable legacy of the great Charlie Kirk. You know, he loved God. And because he loved God, he wanted to understand God's creation and the men and women made in his image. Now, much has been said over the last week about Charlie's ability to approach any topic, any person in good faith, an achievement that was only possible because Charlie knew that we were all children of God. He knew deep down the truth of Scripture. And from that confidence, everything else flowed. That unshakable belief in the gospel led him to see differences in opinion, not as battlefields to conquer, but as way stations in the pursuit of truth. He knew it was right to love others, your neighbor, your interlocutor, your enemy. But he also understood his duty to say what is right and what is wrong, to distinguish what is false from what is true. Charlie was slain, doing what he loved, telling the truth, proclaiming his faith, building out a dream. And now he's gone, and our hearts feel so empty because he's been taken from us. He's been taken from his parents and from his sister. He's been taken from our darling Erica and their beautiful children. And Erica, I know I speak for this entire auditorium when I say that we love you and we will never stop standing by your side, just as Charlie did. He was taken from us by those who despise the virtues that actually made our civilization great to begin with. Dialogue, truth-seeking, family, and faith. In the wake of his death, we have seen some of the very worst parts of humanity. We have watched people slander him. We have watched people justify his murder and celebrate his death. I know that this makes you angry just as it has made me angry. But it is easy in these moments to see only the worst of our fellow man. I found myself wishing that I could pick up the phone and talk to my friend and ask him for his advice and his counsel, to ask him how to respond to such hate and the souls from which that hate springs. But I can't call my friend because he was murdered for speaking the truth. I can only guess at what he might say and what he would encourage me to do. And here's what I think. I think he would encourage me to be honest that evil still walks among us. Not to ignore it for the sake of a fake kumbaya moment, but to address it head on and honestly as the sickness that it is. But I also think he would encourage me, he would encourage all of us to focus on the good. He would encourage us to remember that for every hateful voice celebrating his murder, there are 1,000 people mourning it and fighting for his legacy every single day. He would tell me to pray. I'm certain of it. He would tell me to pray for my friends, but also for my enemies. He would tell me to put on the full armor of God and get back to work. He would tell us to commit ourselves to telling the truth and to fight for that truth each and every single day. He would tell us to talk about God's love and the fact that that love applied everybody across the whole human family. Charlie suffered a terrible fate, my friends. We all know it. We all saw it. But think, it is not the worst fate. It is.
1 second. JakeCoin.com says, D. Wood and AP have smeared the names of Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson. This is delusional nonsense. Okay, Jake, giving you an opportunity to explain how we have smeared the names of Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson. I'm pausing. We're watching J.D. Vance's speech at Charlie Kirk's memorial service. You jumped in with D. Wood and AP have smeared the names of Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson. This is delusional nonsense. So, go ahead. Explain how. Let's start with Charlie Kirk. How did we smear the name of Charlie Kirk? Am I not nice and merciful? Don't know what to do here, guys. I give people an opportunity. JakeCoin.com. Jake did answer where? I just pulled up that one. See someone saying, ban Jake. Someone calling on him to answer. Yeah, Jake, whatever you were saying beforehand, I didn't see. I saw this, and I decided, said Jake replied to Steph S. Okay, guys, you understand there are thousands and thousands. There are 8,500 comments. You can't just say he replied somewhere else. I just brought this up. I don't see him replying. So what is it? Still waiting. Guys, if someone is aware, if you're saying he replied, you should be able to tell me what he replied. What did he reply? Where's the reply? Okay, let's see. Oh, hang on. I did find another comment by him, though. I wish there were a search on this thing. Okay, here we go. They are claiming that Tucker is talking about Jews when he was clearly just talking about those who killed Jesus. They happen to be Jews. Can we not talk about Jesus being killed? What are you talking about, Jake? What? Jake, what the heck are you talking about? Did you not watch anything we actually said? We said, here's what he could mean. He could also mean this. He could also mean this. He could also mean this. And then we took a poll. So what do you mean? Where you at, Jake? About to get blocked because we seriously don't have time for people who are just going to randomly bring up idiotic nonsense. And by the way, guys, you ever notice that whenever we stop, they either have nothing to say or they just make crap up? Can we not talk about Jesus being killed? Who said you can't talk about Jesus being killed? Who said that? That wasn't the point, jakecoin.com. Tucker brings up, he starts his little speech by pointing out that the hummus eaters sat in a room. The hummus eaters sat in a room and decided, how can we silence this guy who's challenging us? And then he says that Charlie Kirk was the same. He was ticking off those people in authority, so they decided to kill him. And we asked, who's he talking about? Who's in authority? Who's in authority? So let me ask you, Jake.com, who was Tucker saying, which group is he saying are in authority and decided to kill Charlie Kirk? He said there's a group in authority and he enraged them the way Jesus enraged the hummus eaters in Jerusalem. And therefore they decided to kill him. Who's in authority? And we gave a poll. The poll is still up. The poll is literally still up. And the poll was, we said, okay, he could be referring to the Trump administration. So for people who think the U.S. government's behind it, he could be referring to U.S. intelligence agencies. He could be talking about the Jews because Tucker thinks that the U.S. government is controlled by Jews. Or he could be talking about leftists and saying leftists have power and Charlie's a threat to their power and therefore one of them decided to kill him. So who's he talking about? You keep responding to other people, Jake. I'm about to block you. Respond to me. I'm the one asking the question, you giant walking clown emoji. He says, I don't trust Tucker any further than I can spit, but I can also listen to words and understand them. Tucker was attacking those who tried to silence Jesus and Kirk. Yeah. Jake, this is your last chance, man. I don't have time for this. Who was Tucker saying? Which group was in authority? They were in authority and they were enraged because Charlie was preaching the gospel and this was a threat to this group in power and they decided to kill him over it. Which group was he talking about? I even said my thinking is along the lines of the polls. Seems to point in this direction, but could be pointing in another direction. So you're saying that's completely unacceptable and you're going to unsubscribe. You don't have to worry about unsubscribing, dude, because unless you gave a brilliant answer for why you're saying this stuff right now, I'm just going to block you. Any response? Last chance, dude. I'll give you another 20 seconds. All right. Does that seem like plenty of time? I'm not seeing anything. All right. Bye, dude. Can't say I didn't give you a chance. Isn't this weird, guys? You get these guys, they'll come on. They say stuff that's completely false. I give them an opportunity to correct their course. And what do? It's embarrassing. It's like they're here just to derail everything. Now, let me back up slightly since we were rudely interrupted. All right, here we go. J.D. Vance, ladies and gentlemen, he's at the end of this.
Single day, he would tell us to talk about God's love and the fact that that love applied everybody across the whole human family. Charlie suffered a terrible fate, my friends. We all know it. We all saw it. But think, it is not the worst fate. It is better to face a gunman than to live your life afraid to speak the truth. It is better to be persecuted for your faith than to deny the kingship of Christ. It is better to die a young man in this world than to sell your soul for an easy life with no purpose, no risk, no love, and no truth. Christ told us in the Gospel of John, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Charlie took heart, and now we must do the same. I've seen so many of you say, so many on social media, talk about for Charlie. We must do this for Charlie. For Charlie, we will speak the truth every single day. For Charlie, we will rebuild this United States of America to greatness. For Charlie, we will never shrink, we will never cower, and we will never falter, even when staring down the barrel of a gun. For Charlie, we will remember that it is better to stand on our feet defending the United States of America and defending the truth than it is to die on our knees. My friends, for Charlie, we must remember that he is a hero to the United States of America and he is a martyr for the Christian faith. May our Heavenly Father give us the courage to live as Charlie lived. That is what we must do for Charlie. You ran a good race, my friend. I love you. We've got it from here. Thank you.
That was a good speech. That was a good speech. Very, 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 very good speech. And how absolutely bonkers is it that in 2025, after everything we've been seeing for decades, now we've got, basically, an entire administration in the government just openly preaching Christianity, openly preaching the gospel. Interesting times, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very interesting times. All right, take these last couple super chats, and then we'll be out. Disobey says, I support Israel. How do I deal with people who bring up the USS Liberty? Sit down with them and go through a good article about the USS Liberty that talks about the conspiracy theories and so on. My sources say Candace's sources are her imaginary friends. What's amazing is how all her imaginary friends are all lovely Jew haters. Yeah, it is interesting that she's got these sources, and these sources are all either constantly telling her that Jews are behind everything or that Brigitte Macron is a dude. Imagine having a healthy mind and developing the same opinions as Kanye West when he got off his antipsychotics. Updates on debate with Muslim Leprechaun. Not sure who Muslim Leprechaun is. Next debate I have is with, what's the guy's name? Sounds like a lounge singer. John Fontaine. Supposed to be debating John Fontaine on the Islamic Dilemma this Friday. That should be fun. But yeah, I mean, think about it. Kanye, who's extremely mental, gets off his meds and he comes to a bunch of insane ideas. And then Candace, with no medication, comes to the same ideas. That is crazy. Dr. George Antonia says, I'm a Lebanese pastor. Candace is unhinged, but Tucker's anti-Semitism is dangerous because calculated. Pharaoh was the first to accuse the Jews of conspiracy. Candace is unhinged, but Tucker's anti-Semitism is dangerous because calculated. Yep, that's pretty much the exact same thing I've been saying. I'm not concerned about the person who is clearly deranged, who is appealing to only clearly deranged people. I'm concerned about the person who has some deranged ideas, but is smart enough to pull along people who aren't deranged with him. Charlie had a daughter and a son, still right about the rest, Dizzle. Yep, I just looked it up when I saw that you had commented on this. I apologize, man. I didn't know the guy. So I saw he had a baby and a daughter. So I don't know where I got the idea that it was two daughters. The Greeks killed Socrates. Yes, you see, the Greeks, they're always killing everybody. The Greeks are behind everything. Ruslan KD just called out Candace Owens' lies about Charlie Kirk. That's good. JD Rocks. Yep. That was crazy. You don't know how someone's going to speak. And then, so I asked AP, hey, who gave the best speeches? And he put JD Vance in. I was like, JD Vance? Really? That's on your top couple list? But yep, now I see why. I get it now. God willed Jesus' death, Isaiah 53:10, gave him up, Romans 8:32, yet men crucified him by God's plan, Acts 2:23. This is probably why Jesus said, John 10:18, no one takes my life, I lay it down. Yeah, and here we are, all these years later, pointing the finger at the Jews. Apologia Center said, tell folks about your coming to the Los Angeles area October 10th. Yes, guys, be me, Ruslan, and Apologia Center in Los Angeles. I think it's like northern Los Angeles, October 10th. So if you're out there and you want to meet, I think we're having it's a apologetics thing. It's small. It's just one evening. We're going to have like dinner and give a couple talks and stuff like that. So, matter of fact, I'll add the link. When I'm done if you want to check that out. But if you're in the area, yep, come check us out. And I'll be posting a video here sometime this week. I like to be closer to the events. And not months ahead of time when I'm announcing stuff. But I'll tell everyone we're going. All right, guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining. I hadn't watched those speeches, so I mentioned yesterday, if I was going to watch them, I might as well just ask what the best ones were and then just watch them with everyone else. I might go through the Trump speech. That was like super long, like 45 minutes or something like that. I'll probably, everyone keeps bringing up Frank Turek's speech. So Frank was one of Charlie's mentors. He was there right when he was shot. People even started saying that Frank Turek was signaling the shooter somehow and stuff. It's completely mental. But I heard it was also someone AP mentioned as giving an awesome speech, and I've seen that from a lot of people. So probably I might just go live at like 6 o'clock tomorrow just to go through Frank Turek's speech and his video that he released separately about Charlie Kirk. Might check those out tomorrow. All right. Thanks for everyone for joining in. We were happy to have AP back after his travels. He'll be resting up now, but I think we all got a lot of work to do, guys. We all got a lot of work to do. So put on your big boy pants or your big girl dress, because some awesome stuff's going to happen. Catch y'all next time.